Willkommen, 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 Wonderbra.
Well, as a woman or as a woman of color, let's be.
Come on! So you don't have an answer?
Look at this, okay, so here's a trail, and the trail goes pup, 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 pup over here, and then it takes a right angle turn.
There are rocks in the Death Valley Desert that move across the ground on their own, leaving behind bizarrely long tracks. And for a century, nobody could figure out why.
So look at the size of that puppy. And it turns out no sweat to move every single rock out here. We're talking many, many bulldozers' strength worth of force.
So what force has been making rocks move for over 100 years when humans aren't looking? The first recorded account of the trails was in 1915 when a prospector named Joseph Crook, who was supposed to be out searching for precious metals, found the rock trails. Crook reportedly showed the rocks to his wife, who couldn't believe that the larger rocks would move naturally. So she skeptically marked the position of a big rock, and of course, it eventually moved away from the mark. The lake bed came to be known as the racetrack playa, and the stones, the sailing stones. You go to the desert and you see the tracks these giant rocks have left behind, some that are parallel where the rocks have moved at the same time and then they've turned the same time, and you're like, what is going on? So I started looking into it, and what I found was a heartwarming story about two cousins who solved the mystery together, and a clever experiment that had convinced scientists that the correct solution was wrong. And then this moment where scientists all over the world were reaching out saying, oh, I have this other mystery with rocks moving. And a young scientist whose life was changed by this mystery. So back in 2014, cousins Dr. Richard Norris and James Norris solved the rock mystery at the racetrack playa. And now they're back. So I spent 16 hours traveling out to meet them and join in on their latest adventure. Check your spare tire, sharp rocks ahead, no AAA. Ah! Vibrating my butt. Hey Diana. Hey, I'm Diana. You're watching Physics Girl. I think it's also worth taking a minute to appreciate how incredible the setting is for these rocks. Death Valley is in the northern Mojave Desert, sitting in the rain shadow of the Sierras. Death Valley is one of the driest places on the planet, and it is certifiably the hottest. So naturally, we went there in the winter. When we went, we camped out for a night in Stovepipe Wells, which is a nice midway point because it has a gas station and a general store that once served 12 pots of coffee in an hour. And then we took a 4-wheel drive Jeep and then trekked the 24 miles down a bumpy dirt road. And you sit there clenching and hoping you don't pop a tire, all up until you see the playa. I couldn't even wait for Levi to come film me because I raced out onto the racetrack by myself. Everything is so uniform. And then, boom, a track. That's so cool.
This is the lowest point over here.
Okay.
And if you go up to the grandstand, which is the pile of rocks at the far end.
Okay,
So
that's what the grandstand
It's called
is.
the grandstand.
The lake bed of the racetrack is filled with dried sediment that extends 1,000 feet down into the ground. So one of my first thoughts was whether the tracks were caused by an animal, but then you see this place. We're like, what lives in Death Valley? It's called Death Valley. There can't be much.
Well, we had a beautiful kangaroo rat in our camp last night.
Oh, cute.
And they're the cutest little thing.
They're cute, but they're not pushing around rocks that weigh as much as refrigerators. Richard had heard about the racetrack problem many years prior in school, and eventually the itch of the mystery got to him enough.
Well, so what happened? fundamentally, is that Jim said, I think we could probably solve this little problem.
Yeah. So they began coming out to the racetrack and trying out experiments.
Jim had the idea of putting the GPSs on the rocks. We set out our own rocks, of course, drilled holes in the rocks to put a GPS tracker in. The switch would be thrown and the GPS would turn on to live mode, okay, collecting data constantly.
Well, you would know the rocks had moved, but how would you know what had happened?
And then connecting that with a weather station meant that we would know what the weather conditions were.
So the duo set out their trackers in the winter of 2011, and their collaborator, Ralph Lorenz, reportedly claimed this would be the most boring experiment ever, as they prepared to wait for something to happen, knowing that it might take decades. But a mere 2 years later, the motion-activated GPS trackers switched on a day when they least expected movement. Before we find out why the GPS trackers switched on, a quick message. I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Is there something interfering to change therapists if needed? It's more years of Physics Girl. You can get 10% off the first month at betterhelp.com/physicsgirl. And now back to the day the GPS trackers turned on when the cousins hadn't expected it. Because after reviewing prior experiments, here's what
Look at this, okay,
expected
so here's
to
a trail. There's these two camps, you know, it's strong, powerful winds, it's ice, and we were both inclined towards the wind idea. The sharp and carry experiment sure suggested that ice wasn't the driver. That was, I have to confess, convincing to me.
The reason Richard is confessing is because the experiment he was referencing was so beautifully convincing that it was not ice. Here's how that experiment went. Scientists put stakes in the ground surrounding a couple rocks, and then one day, one rock moved out and the other one stayed in. The researchers were convinced if sheets of ice were dragging the rocks, then both of the rocks would have moved. So at this point, James and Richard pretty much rule out ice. They're team wind. So they head out to the playa expecting a hurricane to blow the rocks around.
And our expectation was that we would come out here with a four-season tent. We would stake it down. When it was howling outside, we'd peek out, you know, and we'd see the rocks scooting by, kind of thing.
But on a chilly morning with a light breeze, a few days after a snowstorm had brought enough water to make a 3-inch pond on the playa, something happened.
I have an embarrassing thing to say. You know, we saw it like an hour after it happened.
Okay.
But we were unfortunately over there, about a kilometer away. And we saw all the ice that had been a part of this big ice panel piling up out there from the other side. And it was like, Jim, what's going on? And then we walked along the shoreline over there, and there was big piles of this clinker ice. It kind of goes clink, 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 clink all over the shoreline. That's, you know, plate glass, thin, you know, clear, beautiful glass with rocks in it.
Giant sheets of ice, hundreds of feet across, were starting to move across the playa.
And then we arrived down here. We climbed up on the, what we call the source hill, because that's where almost all the rocks come from.
Gotcha.
And it was like, oh my God, we missed it. You know, the biggest move event in 10 years, and we were on the wrong, you know, kilometer away. Well, and then it was like the scales fall from your eyes, that literally, that, you know, then we understood immediately what was going on.
What they realized was that on rare occasions, when the playa fills with water from rain or snow and is deep enough to form floating ice during exceptionally cold nights, the pond freezes to form thin sheets of ice. The ice then begins to melt in the daytime sun. The ice breaks up, and as the wind picks up, it blows the sheets of ice across the playa and drags the rocks with it. And of course, the rocks drag trails in the ground as they go.
The winds are not strong. I had to kind of hold my hat on.
Yeah.
That wind stress over a couple square kilometer area of floating ice, of course, it causes the ice to move.
Here's why this is all so amazing.
We do know how thick the ice was, and the ice was about 1/8 of an inch thick.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
What Richard and James soon realized was that the corral experiment hadn't disproved the ice theory, it had disproved thick ice.
Like, yeah, move a rock like that with ice that is, you know, thin enough to tear past those stakes. No, that doesn't seem reasonable.
The ice was thinner than anyone thought was possible.
Yeah.
It's this little thin sheet of ice.
That's amazing.
Huge. Both start moving, and
Yep.
then they move for 16 minutes with the same exact pattern, but they're 650 feet apart.
Yeah.
And you're going, That's a single panel of ice.
So the wind moves the ice and drags the rocks, and the rocks make the tracks. But here's the thing. The pond isn't big enough to fill the entire playa, and yet...
Some of the rocks do travel all the way over to the distant shoreline.
How do we know?
And you know that they've far traveled because they're this distinctive dolomite.
Okay.
And the only source of dolomite is from there.
Which is just right there. How do they get there?
When you get a pond, the pond forms here. It's almost a flat surface. The pond goes there. It's a classic, so what the oceanographers call a seiche event.
Seiche event. A seiche is when strong winds can cause really rapid changes in the height of water. In this case, it moves the entire pond from one end of the playa to the other. The pond essentially rolls uphill.
And all the rocks just go, off they go.
And then at the end of the day, the wind dies down and it moves all the way back. So they published a paper describing what was going on in 2014. And what happened next was amazing.
My favorite part of this whole story is that after you publish your paper, there are all these scientists from all over the world that are sending you emails and mailing you photos. They're like, wait, I have something.
We were out here at one point and we met this couple in the parking lot. And the wife told us this story about seeing this video on TV of ice bursting through somebody's garage in the Great Lakes. And you can find these on YouTube, these pictures of ice that is being blown across the Great Lakes. Of course, an enormous area, big, long fetch, right? And it forms mountains that are like, I don't know, at least a couple meters high.
Everywhere he went, people started telling him about mysterious things that they had found, of rocks and ice being moved by unusual forces.
And then we've observed in Google Earth images of Great Slave Lake, basically house-sized rocks that apparently have scribed trails in the bottom of the lake.
But there are also still some other unanswered mysteries.
And then there's this place in Spain that is out in the La Mancha area, man of La Mancha, you know, and they have had documented rock trails on them. Those folks say that it is not this mechanism. And their argument is that they're salt lakes, and so the salt, it lowers the freezing temperature of water enough that you wouldn't get ice forming on the surface to make the rocks move. I don't believe that story. That's going to be, you know, a future adventure to Spain.
So I think I finally understand why it took so long to solve this mystery.
We could tell that the rocks move for about 15 minutes and then they stop.
They're done.
You have to be here right at the right time.
At the exact,
you know, it is a perfect Goldilocks.
It's Goldilocks on cocaine.
Yeah.
That's the whole different children's story that we don't usually tell.
It's the hottest place on Earth, but you need it to be freezing at night.
Or it doesn't rain that often, I would imagine.
That's the key.
It's incredibly windy, but you need just gentle winds. And you need a source of rocks on this playa that's mostly 1,000 feet deep of just straight sediment. Everything about this problem is just perfect, which is one of the things I love about this story. But the thing I love the most is this next bit about a little girl from Germany.
So one of the people who contacted us after our paper was published was a 13-year-old girl in southern Germany. Her name is Ronja Spanke, and she had been doing experiments to simulate what was going on here at Death Valley for her science fair project. And it turns out, like, no sweat, okay, to move every single rock out here. We're talking many, many bulldozers' strength worth of force. The whole notion that it had to be like really super slick, you know, to get the rocks to move, this is bull. Okay, and Ronja showed that in her little, you know, after-school experiment. And it turns out that she won a whole series of science fair projects.
There's not that many scientific things we go see that there's a lot of people out here coming to visit and check out. So this one is pretty spectacular.
And you can go see the stones if you want. It's not easy. I know Richard and James were really eager to solve the mystery, but I don't think they ever expected the impact they were going to have on other people's lives. And I can't wait for the answers they uncover next. Thanks so much for watching, and happy physicsing. hi.
Happy birthday to you. No, I'm just kidding.
What? So my birthday was a few days ago, and I thought it would be a great idea to try to get enemies to sing me happy birthday through proximity chat. As expected, it was very chaotic, but honestly, absolutely hilarious. My goal was to get 10 people to sing it, and shockingly, it went pretty well. So as always, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello, is anyone here?
Hi.
Oh, hi. Where are you?
Where are you?
I'm up top. Would you like to be my friend?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Sounds great.
Hi.
So I have a proposition for you.
Go ahead.
It's my birthday today, and I was wondering if you would sing me happy birthday.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
You go sing with me.
I sing with you? That's not how birthdays work.
Yeah.
No, that's not how birthdays work.
Okay, ready. Happy birthday. What's your name?
Amber.
Happy birthday to you.
First try, baby.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Yay.
birthday, dear Amber. Happy birthday to you. How old are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm turning 22.
Oh, you're welcome.
I appreciate that. Wait, really?
Is it?
You're interrupting my birthday! Bitch.
Fuck your birthday.
Hold on, I gotta stop the car. So it's my
looks like you
birthday
don't count me.
today, and I was
Birthday.
wondering if you would sing me happy birthday. You don't sing. You don't need to sing happy birthday. Look, a true friend would sing me happy birthday. No? To be fair, chat, I wouldn't
what's
do
your
it.
name? Oh shit, I'm
My
so
name is
sorry.
Amber.
I had to use the push to talk.
No, I know. I have such a hard time with it when I'm trying to run and like push to talk at the same time.
Is it really your birthday?
It is, yeah.
Oh, well, bro, happy birthday. How old did
Thank
turn
you.
now?
22.
How old are you now? 22, that's awesome.
I'm sorry, you're not singing happy birthday. I gotta do it. I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. Why'd you make me do that, chat? You put that. You
F you.
You
F
made me do that. You put the thoughts in my head. I read the chat and I was like, I gotta do. He did not deserve that. Hey, friend. Wait. Don't shoot. You. Hey, you.
Hey man, I'm scared. Where you at?
I'm in front of you. You want a team?
No,
Really?
baby.
Please.
I don't know where you at. Fool.
I'm in front of you by the bridge. You're in that little building, right? I see you.
Where?
Look. It's my birthday. You have to team with me.
No, you're gonna stab me in the back.
No. Okay. I will. Look. If you sing me happy birthday, we will be a team, and I will defend you till death.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Oh no! Oh Jesus. There's someone
here.
next to us. Wait.
mine.
There's two of us. Look. You don't want to. Look. I'll let you res if you sing me happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yay!
Happy
Welcome to the
birthday.
team.
I need to get out of here now.
Let's go.
There's people sniping at us
Oh
on the
shit.
hill.
Alright. We got 3 people now.
We got like 2 or 3 people sniping at us.
I got 2 people to do it. Holy shit. You good? Are we good? Alright, we're good. Hell yeah. I think there's someone in this building right in front of us. Chat, I don't trust him. Finish him for 10. You wanna go up the ladder? Where do we go? I'm sorry! I had to do it, I'm sorry! Okay, you're good. I do have a proposition though.
What's good?
So, it's my birthday today, and I was wondering if you would consider singing me happy birthday.
Happy birthday
Aw.
to you. Happy birthday
Let's go.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, that made my birthday. Thank you so much. I'm 22.
Hello?
Oh, someone else is here. Hi there.
Who's good? You're the one who killed me last time.
Huh? Me?
Yeah, you killed me last time. Yeah, for the 10 gifted.
Oh, wait, really? I'm so sorry about that. Look, I had to do it, all right?
I'm coming up right now.
Wait, okay, but I know that I killed you last time, but would you sing me happy birthday? like, it's in the past, all right? I would never do it again.
Ah. Happy birthday.
Let's go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amber Wolf.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Let's go. Okay, I got 2 more. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. No, you killed my friend. Wait, don't shoot.
Alright.
Bro, he sang me happy birthday.
My bad.
Oh, it's okay. Maybe, do you think you would sing me happy birthday since you killed the guy that...
No, honestly, no. I'm not be singing, but I'll let you go for your birthday. How about that? Is that cool?
Okay, yeah. Alright.
Alright.
Alright, see you later. Good luck with your game.
You too.
If he was standing in front of me, I would have killed him. Or do I go back and I find him and I kill him? Oh shoot. Oh hey.
Hey! No!
You should have saved me! Happy birthday! Sorry. Alright. So, I have a proposition for you actually.
What's up?
It's my birthday today, and I was wondering if you could sing me happy birthday.
Oh my.
Oh, hi.
Happy birthday to you. No, I'm just kidding.
What? Oh no! I can't believe you've done this.
Yo, friendly.
Oh, hi. Okay,
Hi.
is that your bomb drone?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, we're good. Would you like to be friends?
Yes, would you like to be friends?
Hell yeah.
Right here.
Hi. Actually, I have a question to
Hi.
ask you.
Hey, what's up?
So, it's my birthday today, and I was wondering if you would sing
mine
me happy
too.
birthday. No shot, actually?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's my birthday.
Okay, wait, how about we sing happy birthday together, like, to each other?
Okay.
Wait, what's your name?
Alright. Matt.
I'm Amber. Alright, ready?
Alright.
Happy
Alright.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Matt.
Amber.
Happy
birthday to you.
Oh my god, that was the cutest thing ever. Okay. Oh shit, there's someone else. Hold on. Holy hype train. Augie thing. Oh. Wait. Stop. Don't shoot. Wait.
Why should I not kill you?
Do you want to be friends?
How's that convincing?
It's my birthday.
You know what? I guess I'll let you live then.
Would you consider singing me happy birthday?
Sure.
Really?
If you don't come, yes. If you don't come out, stay inside your building.
Oh, I'm
I'll
outside
kill
the
you.
building.
Yeah, I know. I see you.
Hello?
Here.
Where are you?
Yeah, I
What the
see
hell?
you. I'm here. Look, I'm above you.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
So, birthday?
All right, I'll sing happy birthday. Just because it's your birthday.
Yay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. What's your name?
Amber.
Happy birthday, dear Amber. Happy birthday, beautiful.
Yay! Wait, who's dropping?
Yay.
Hello.
So,
Do we look real?
question.
I mean,
so.
you look about as good as it does on a video game.
Oh.
Oh hell yeah. So it's my birthday today.
Oh, is it?
Yep, and I was wondering if you would sing me happy birthday.
That's a lot of requests.
I know. Look, Victor will sing it with you, right, Victor?
I was literally about to say that. She's aiming to get at me, so I kind of have to say I'll sing it with you, but we can harmonize too if you want.
Let me get my other teammate back and he'll sing it with you.
Oh.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh my god.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I don't know your name. Happy birthday to you.
Yay!
Oh, no. And no cap. She's live too. I knew it was a real one.
Thank you.
Sound familiar. Fuck, did I just God damn it.
There.
Oh.
I just God damn it. No cap. She's live too. I knew it was a real one.
Thank you.
Sound familiar. Fuck, did I just God damn it.
There.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Nico.
Oh
What's
my
up,
gosh,
bro?
hey.
Hi. How are you?
Y'all
Good,
wanna
how are you
team?
doing?
Oh, whoa. Is this
that you?
Nico?
Sit down, Nico. Oh, shit.
Hey, it's
I
Amber's
cannot
birthday,
stay
so
away
y'all
from
just
him
sing
over
happy
here.
birthday
Oh,
and stuff? We
yeah,
can just, like, knock each other out.
maybe, just, sing me happy birthday, and then
That's
we
what
can
we're going
be
around
on our
asking people
way.
to sing happy birthday, and if they do it, we just have fun.
Hold up, let me-
I'm being serious, bro. We're doing it.
Happy birthday to you.
Your papi
Happy
Monino.
birthday to you. Happy
See-
birthday. What's your name?
Amber.
Mr. Victor. Amber. Happy birthday. Got me.
Let's go.
See, perfect.
Thank
We're
you,
good.
thank you.
Dude, what
Hey, I only
is
need one
this?
more now, chat. God damn, I can't believe we did it.
If we kill a boss, I'll show you my feet.
The jailer?
Oh yeah, I'm
yeah,
down
yeah,
to kill the jailer if you guys
jailer?
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm down.
Oh, hell
I'm
yeah.
down.
Okay,
Chicharo,
let's grab
you down
some.
too, bro?
We need like
Yeah,
Semtex
just get
and
all
stuff.
the syntaxes and stuff. Hey,
Hey, whoa, bro.
All right,
Come
so
on.
Juicy gets
All right, Juicy, you get to live.
Juicy, I like you, bro.
Yeah. Juicy, by any chance, would you be down to sing me happy birthday?
Happy birthday.
Okay, don't kill the jailer yet.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Just want to die the jailer.
Happy birthday, dear.
Thank you, Juicy.
Let's go, Juicy.
Let's go.
You little simplistic bit. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding.
We got it, chat.
You
That's
did, Pog.
10.
Fun.
Today, a fireside chat with Dig Drive DIY. There are two types of people in this world, those that burn firewood and those that don't. But fortunately, this video is for both of you, because if you currently burn wood or grew up with it, then you might find it interesting to see the 6 different wood burners I'm about to share with you. And if you didn't, well then maybe you'll learn something about someone like me, because I'm going to explain the top 4 reasons for why I go to the trouble of heating with wood. They're saying this could be the coldest Christmas in the last 40 years, and I believe them, since I currently have 3 different fires going here just at our place. So I think it's the perfect time to talk about this stuff. Hopefully you got a nice warm spot to sit and join me, unlike this spot, because this was a stupid idea. It is freezing. I'm gonna head back inside.
Dig Drive DIY.
Even if you don't burn firewood, I can promise you that your ancestors did. Wood, as a fuel source for heating, is much older than civilization, and it's assumed to have been used by the Neanderthals.
Fire can be used for cooking, as a heat source, and to scare away those unwanted wild animals.
For the natives or the first colonists in North America, it would have been nearly the only way to heat your home. Still might be for some. So for so many folks that still live out in the country, heating with firewood is a multi-generational family tradition. Both my wife and myself grew up in early 20th century farmstead homes where the primary heat source was firewood. This is where I grew up. We burned wood in the house in 2 different stoves right there. That little red door underneath the window. That's where we would back the trailer of wood up to, and we'd hand it all down into the basement. Enter the basement. Wood came in right here. There's the stack of wood. And right there is a hole. There's a grate where there used to be a giant furnace down here, and that would be an air vent. Well, before this air duct was here, we would open up that hole in the floor and hand the wood from down here up above. So we'd take the logs out of the floor. The hole is about right here somewhere, and then carry them over to the stove. A lot of times we'd fill up a cart and push a cart over here to the stove. The stove was right here. We had a great big wood box right here, and we would fill up the wood box full of wood. So this is an earth stove, very popular. There's a screen that goes on the front. You know, this is all we use to heat the entire downstairs. Well, that's not true. When it got super cold, we started the other stove. So this is actually the oldest stove that I'm going to show you today. And this is the little stove that's in what we used to call the little living room right off the kitchen at Mom and Dad's house. And when it got super cold outside and that stove wouldn't do it, we'd have to light this one. We didn't burn this one all the time, did we?
We did.
Or most of the time?
Yeah.
Most of the time. All I had to tend to the stove. We put wood in the stove since I was how old?
Probably 8.
You're 8? This stove is really interesting because what's this history on this little potbelly?
Main heat sources to get heat up. It was so hot, the color fire, but put a coffee.
From a wood stove. Got a chainsaw and a way to move it. You can heat your house for next to nothing. Of course there were alternative heat options by then, but they all came at a price. We wanted to save money, so that's what we did. Plus, both of us grew up with it. This is the same country comfort stove that was here when we moved in. Here's some more. I found it doesn't smoke as much if you... Ouch! If you leave one door closed, it doesn't smoke into the house. It sort of heated the entire house, and we used the electric baseboards for backup when it got really cold. The blowers are going on the stove, so it pumps hot air out of the front of those ports. And this thing is warm. What do you say?
Yes.
You just gonna hang out here all day? And today, we use this wood burner as backup to our outdoor wood boiler, because during these nasty polar vortex blasts, the boiler can sometimes struggle to keep up with it all. So we build a fire in the house, and that can help make it feel really cozy.
Oh, it's like there's a snow chunk right there. Oh my goodness gracious. Have you felt the window? You know how cold it is in here? Look,
It's
I
like
don't even
40.
have goosebumps.
It's ice. But when it gets down to minus 20 and below wind chills, because of some 30-mile-per-hour winds, all bets are off. I have to keep a very close eye on more than just the house when it is this cold. All right, well, I'm inside of our block building that's right next to our house. We call it the block house. And I'm not really sure what this building was originally for. We think it was probably a summer kitchen or somewhere where they did something all season long, because this building is insulated with corn cobs. It's got really thick walls that are filled up full of corn cobs, and it insulates really well as a result. This building contains probably one of the most interesting wood burners that I've ever seen. And when it gets super cold like it is right now, we usually fire up the wood stove in here because, believe it or not, our well is also in this building. The well is only about 20 to 25 feet deep, and it's right here in the corner of the building. And our pressure tank and our well pump is all out here. Plus there's a sink with a faucet. So we've got to keep this warm. All we heat it with now is one of those oil-filled radiant heaters, and it seems to do the trick just fine. Matter of fact, when I checked on it this morning, it was still about 50 degrees in here with just that oil-filled heater, and it's dropped to 40 in here. I don't want it to really get any colder, so I'm just going to warm it up once with the wood stove, and essentially I'll have 3 fires going at once. And this happens once or twice a year. So I want to show you this stove. Coles brand. It's easy to look at the amount of work that's involved with all of this and think it's just not worth it. And the older I get, the more I can relate to that argument. But I don't think I'd be the same person I am today if I hadn't grown up doing this. Heating with firewood builds character, no doubt about it. There's a sense of accomplishment that comes with providing your own means for producing heat. This one does have fire brick line in the inside of it. And this little doober can get hot. It works really well. Oh yeah, it's going pretty good now. But this is how it got started for me, or how it got in my blood. So, well, as long as I can possibly remember, I've been cutting wood. So
now, you boys weren't hardly big enough to carry the pieces of wood through the floor and over to the wood box, but I guess it was a good training for you.
It was good training. Well, at least I think so. All right, well, thanks for showing me, Dad.
Yeah.
But it's going to bring us full circle because this is modeled after an old 17 or 1800s style home. This is my in-laws' house that they built about 4 years ago. It's built after a traditional Cape Cod style home, and they decided to go with what would have traditionally been in one of these houses, a central.
Nun also doch der Marder. Deutschland liefert etwa 40
road. For the extra 10 minutes it takes, it's well worth not ending up like that. Well, let me get over there to the machine and we'll get some more video.
Jesus, ist der geschickt da damit.
Justin, your thoughts?
My thoughts? You don't, on camera, you don't want to know my thoughts.
Might want to take pond excavation off the job description.
I take that off the services website, I can tell you that.
I'd probably put them on the do not rent list.
What if they got out here to walk on? They ain't even got no logs, they ain't got no...
I don't know. As of now, the machine will still run.
Oh, really?
It's not full of water, so I'm going to go over there and try to dig out around it and get what water is around the fan out. And we can start it up and get some mats shoved under it with this, and it should come out of there.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. If worst case, I give you a shovel and you can get down there and somebody got to shovel the cab out so I can see.
We got to clean the tracks too. It won't track.
Yeah, it probably won't. Okay. All right.
The scene of the accident.
Get this water out from here. So that when I dig around it, it's not flooding over into the machine.
Ja, einfach eine Schaufel rausnehmen, wir können ja mit Teichtiefe, dass es doch hinten wegläuft, oder? Das ist nicht einfacher gewesen.
There's a mat. Hey, it don't do nothing good when the mat's on top of the machine. Well, he had mats. Just not where he needed them.
Yeah, do that side, get the front, let the water drain out, then maybe we can start it up and jack it up and get some mats under it. Yeah. I'm gonna lay a mat where somebody starts shoveling the cab out. Now let's dig out. Push the dirt behind it so that when we pull the machine out, it doesn't cave off and all that water flood down in between us. Jack it up to get mats so that I can run in. That's no mess. Jumping air filter. Dust is good. Hey, turn it. I think it's, yeah. It was getting cold. I think so. Hey, cut the key off and just cut it on for a second. So we got the machine started. Alright, you can swing that way now. You can swing that way now. Do is dig out in front of the machine, try to get some mats down, be able to crawl up under.
deeper. Let me get you a map. Yeah, it ain't gonna come up the hill though. I'm gonna have to ram it out. It ain't gonna climb up the hill, John. You have to ram it. You get out and I'll get them out. Hold on one second. Yeah, but if I start pulling, all that water's going to gush in here. Just leave them. All right. Hey, we're going to leave them. If I go and pull them out, all that water's going to gush in. He said leave them. I ain't worried about it. Recovery time, hour and a half. There's some happy people right there. They didn't even have to touch a chain. Boy, she was buried. We got lucky, that thing still runs. And now it's clean up all the mats we brought and load up and get out of here. Everybody seems to be super happy. So there it is, all recovered and running. Nothing really tore up on it, just a bent panel. Well, all said and done, there it is. Took about an hour and a half from the time I got here to getting it out up on dry ground. Nothing really seems damaged on it other than some bent panels. He got lucky. And I think we have a pond dredging to do now. I don't know if that panel was bent before, but another successful day.
We are harvesting rainwater, boy. The worst Kevin can do to me is this. Actually, it's quite bad. Kevin vented into the house, gone anime. Karen and Kevin come into my home for dinner. Come marching home. What's up, all you epic Fortnite, Minecraft, Imposter, Among Us, Sus, Fortnite, RuneScape? Whoa! Who's this handsome little sussy baka in my room? Could it be that Kevin perhaps shrunk himself in order to get behind enemy lines to attack me? I don't think so, sir. Leaves from the vine, falling so slow, like fragile tiny shells drifting in the foam. Little soldier boy, come marching home. Brave soldier boy comes marching home. Hello, Kevin. That's a small version of you. Isn't that neat, sir? What are you doing? Coming up to give me a little kiss? Whoa, whirlwind, 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 whirlwind. Push. Kevin, back up. Kevin, hey. How about you back up, sir? Oh my gosh. You're not gonna follow me. You're not gonna follow me. You're not gonna do it. You won't do it. You're way too scared, Kevin. You don't have the nads to come into my home, my turf. Stay where you are. I'm gonna blow the air horn. Kevin, you wanna come in, or are you just gonna stand there being all menacing? Look how convicted he is. Yeah, he's like, nope, no, I don't know if I wanna do that. Leaves from the vine, falling so slow, like fragile tiny shell drifting in the foam. See how fast he goes from being like totally evil to come on in. We're back at the Urban Rescue Ranch, and today Pog and I are gonna be watching dream videos on the YouTube. Whoa, is that me in the top of bird? That looks like a great video. I might have to watch it later. Karen and Kevin come into my home for dinner. Come on, Kevin, can you make it? Let's see. Okay, he's in here. Now this is epic. What are you doing, sir? Kevin, are you being a sussy baka again? Poggers, you know what we do to people in this house that are sussy bakas. We give them kisses. We're gonna have them in for drinks, then we're gonna have dessert. Let me turn some of the lights on, you guys. I'll open the door for Karen. Excuse me. Karen, come on in, hon. There are my manners. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on these lights so we can get things, the mood going, I suppose. Maybe we can watch a little YouTube, play a little Minecraft. I'm surprised that Karen hasn't come in yet. Oh, looks like she's coming. Kevin vented into the house? Saucy? Gone back up? Kevin vented into the house? Gone anime? He wanted to go back outside. I'm gonna go ahead and get those other adorable little babies and put them outside as well. Karen, my beautiful wife, I love you and I miss you. Chickens kind of want to come inside too. Maybe I'll have to let them. As you can tell, this is a speed run video. We're going to speed run our farm chores as fast as we can. Would you guys take a look at this adorable, beautiful little creature? These are my favorite rat type because they're so good at pecking things. Watch this. Seems like the rhea are a lot more hand-eye coordinated or mouth-eye coordinated, you could say, than the ostrich. They're a lot less angry than the emus and a lot safer because they're so tiny. Look how small she is. I am 6'2", and Karen is probably about, when she's not stretched up, she's probably about 4 foot something. Kevin is about 5 foot something. When he's stretched up, he's about 6 foot something. As you can see, the worst Kevin can do to me is this. That actually is quite bad. That hurts quite a bit, sir. Please back up. But I'm not gonna push him because I don't want him to hit the kids. The big thing I'll say though is that my favorite thing about these adorable rheas is that their bodies are shaped like little lemons. Even Kevin, who's a grown man, is shaped like a big lemon. Kevin just showed aggression to DaBaby and these guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and push him back. Wait a minute, is that hit rapper and artist DaBaby? Or do you have some dirt on you, sir? Did you get all dirty over there? You got all dirty over in the corner. Oh, he's so dirty. Look how cute he is. And look at the baby Kevin. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start herding these guys over now. Olive's enclosure has been breached. No, I'm gonna just slap you. Back up. Oh, look at these adorable babies. Look at these adorable. Get out. She turned on me. If you hold them at the base enough, they won't get you. Watch this. Never mind. Oh my gosh, that hurts a ton. That hurts a ton. Oh my gosh. That's a bad one. Brave soldier boy. Check this out, guys. Okay, so I really underestimated how much water was actually in this thing, and it's super, super dangerous for me to even sit under there, let alone for these little chickens to be under here. So I'm gonna go ahead and try something new. Check this out, Minecraft pranksters. I'm gonna go ahead and poke a hole at the bottom part. Right there. With a nice little hole right there. Maybe I'll poke another one. I'll poke two. All right. I'm just gonna put this right under here. That bad boy's gonna fill right up. Now I also need to plug this little hole under here, but I don't really want to sit under there to do it because I still think this is kind of dangerous, so I'm just gonna go ahead and not. But we are harvesting rainwater, boys. Yeah, that's right. Here at the Urban Rescue Ranch, Uncle Ben is based and rainwater harvesting pilled. Look at all these adorable children. That one's my favorite right there. You see that one? The one that's like kind of like an Oreo. See them? Oh, my pigeons. Hello. Hello, children. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm gonna go ahead and eat some of these guys because we're running low on food. Just kidding. I've made the executive decision that I'm going to go ahead and rehome these guys a lot sooner than I thought. This is one of Nugget's sons. Look at this really cool looking guy. Baby Kevin really likes the chickens and he really vibes with all the animals. Baby Karens really want to stay with their parent. Kevin has already kind of adopted them today. It's really neat. Oh, is that the hit rapper and artist, Nate Dogg? The baby Karens and the baby Kevins, they're all hanging out over there, and it's really cool to see Kevin over there because in the wild, the Kevins will actually protect the babies. Matter of fact, once the Rheas actually hatch out their own eggs, and the males are the ones that incubate the eggs, they will protect the babies, and they'll even scare away the females from the babies to protect them. And the babies will follow their dads around for miles, just grazing, looking for little bugs, but mostly eating grass. What's cool is when Kevin was just a little baby, he was only with chickens, so he kind of bonded to those chickens. But old Uncle Ben's gonna need a thumbnail if we don't have one already, so Kevin, I have a knife, sir. Look how sweet these little babies are walking around with him. I'm gonna go ahead and lay a more shallow feed dish or a water dish so that these little guys can drink. This water dish is fine, but I'm really afraid that some of the little guys might end up falling in it and then drowning. I don't worry about that with the ducks, but I do worry about that with this little tiny, tiny chick here. I'm gonna lay out a few more waters, so I'm pretty sure that this isn't a Muscovy duck. This could actually be one of the Duncan ducks. The reason why I think that is because you look at all their feet, and then this one's the only one with an orange bill and orange feet. This was the first duckling we hatched too, which is why I think that it might have been a call duck. And there was one other thing I wanted to show you guys. Vinny.
Hallo?
He actually made a little hidey hole in the hay. So look at little Vinny. Oh, look at this little guy. You guys ever watch The Office? Hay place, very fun. And she's actually loving this little area. This is a perfect little place for her. Her entire little house and tunnel and shelter here is made entirely of food. And believe it or not, Vinny can actually get up to the top of this thing. I've seen her do it a couple times. This is quite possibly the best enclosure for one single rabbit that anyone has ever made, ever. Poppy is still completely missing in AWOL, but I leave these lights on all night, and Poggers is out here most nights. So I always just peek through my window. Because anytime I hear them going beep, 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 and I'm in my bed, I'll just peek out the window. And if I see Poppy or any other predator coming out at them, I will literally open the window and just jump out in the middle of the night. Oh, look at this. And this guy's already drained almost completely. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the top on. Check this out, guys. I didn't even have to plug this thing. I'm just gonna go ahead. Seems pretty cool to me. As cool as it's gonna get with all that water coming out the back. Go ahead and plug this. Oh, the one thing that sucks is that the water's really hot. That doesn't really matter though all that much. I guess the last thing I'll do is harvest one more bowl for these guys over here. Perfect, wonderful. Pretty neat though, guys, pretty neat. All right, love you guys, appreciate you. And I'll see you in the, whoa, this is Nugget's son too. Look at this.
This is one of the world's biggest construction projects. A $7.5 billion feat of engineering that's going to transform travel across an entire continent.
And it's happening here, on the quiet German island of Fehmarn.
Let me explain. This is the ScanMed Corridor. It's the northern access of the Trans-European Transport Network, and it spans nearly 5,000 kilometers from Malta in the Mediterranean to Finland's icy tundra. Along the way, it drills through alpine mountains and crosses the sea.
But follow the route.
Wie bitte? Ja, integrierte Videos in irgendwelche Websites, wo man die Lautstärke nicht verändern kann. Ein Traum.
And it's all because of this. A stretch of water between
Ja,
called the Fehmarn Belt. So let's just get this straight. There's currently a 55-kilometer tunnel being dug through a mountain in Austria. There's an epic bridge and tunnel. There's another massive bridge linking two Danish islands. But we can't get over this.
Fuck, gegen das. Das ist natürlich nicht so geil. Okay. Regenschleier. I see it. Esse ich Geliandris und dann Tank.
And it kind of epitomizes the power of construction. Never fall.
Oh! Oh. Not good. No. Alter! Falsch mit dem. Ja?
Hi, okay. Viel Damage. Sehe schon, ja.
Oh no! Hey! das Ding, ich habe Futures Market dabei. Trotzdem nicht.
What? Wieso hat er kein Damage genommen? Traumstück. I need all the souls. Der scheiß Buschmann. Jedes Mal wischen. Kajo.
Slowed? That's what you're gonna do. Jesus, ich die. Der ist ein Item mehr, der die.
Oh nö. Komm. Fuck day.
An ally has been slain.
No, falsche Richtung. What? Okay.
Ach, klar, Grace.
Enemy quadra kill. Ace.
Pen.
An enemy has been slain.
So, how the heck do you build something this big?
Well, it all starts here. I'm currently standing in Rugby House.
Shut down.
So big.
Enemy has been slain.
Work area.
Never fall. As Ionia changes, so must Never falter. We have learned
Ich muss auf den gehen, sonst ist jeder Fight verloren.
Und ich einfach. Okay. Das ist so blöd. Thanks. Einfach. Balance.
never falter. The answer lies
Noch, Mann. Ach, ich glaube, ich stehe jetzt genauso weit hinten wie alle anderen Ficker hier. Keine Feldschüsse richtig. Einfach nur nach hinten. Komplett nutzlos da irgendwie tun irgendwas ist. Du stirbst jedes Mal nur. Einfach hinten auf der Base stehen bleiben.
Its ballast tanks are simply flooded.
Oh.
Just a small matter of fitting the whole thing out with lighting, ventilation and motorway and railway before the whole thing opens in 2029. That's basically it. Easy, right?
absolutely epic. The size of it is
Yep.
huge. On paper, the process seems logical and practical, but seeing it up close, you can't help but feel dwarfed by the immense scale of
Die Mythics sind einfach zu gut, ohne die kannst du nicht spielen.
Ja.
It is. You could easily park a 747 or two in here. Wow. This has actually been pretty fast. We've been working on the factory site here, what we call the PFA, the production facility area, for about a year. So everything you see here is basically got up out of nowhere over the last. What keeps these engineers awake at night is not whether their foundations and calculations are correct, but the sheer logistics of getting all these tunnel segments built and out to sea in an orchestrated way. There isn't anywhere big enough to
Nicht muss ich AP spielen.
they've got to be taken straight out to sea.
Mit dem Cutter.
To make sure nothing stops.
Ja, haben wir einen 3A-Dealer.
Have been practicing and honing nearly
Reicht. Cutter reicht. Komplett lächerlich.
Up close to a test segment that's been constructed. This behind me.
That's not what I just said. This is another one of those scenarios where I have to be better than all of these people, and it's really, really, really hard. Okay, who are these guys? Get me on. How do I talk to them? Where are they?
Destiny and Melina. And I want us to look at how Melina talks about their relationship, and I want to see your reaction.
One interesting aspect of your relationship is you're in an open relationship. What's that like? From a theoretical simulation perspective, what went into that calculation? And like how does that?
Like how that started? Or?
Yeah, how that started. Sure.
The only relationships I've ever done has been open relationships since I was like in high school. Because I didn't really understand like why wouldn't you be able to like do other things with other people, but then just like have your main partner basically.
So what is an open relationship, generally speaking? That means you have one
like
main partner.
a non-monogamous relationship. Like you're somehow allowed different ways. You can see other people's relationships.
Sexually, but like there's one main.
Yeah, or it doesn't have to be different from people, but like I think it's probably easier. We probably don't really have time or the energy for like more than like one person to like really.
What about like most? It's really complicated. There's a lot of complicated stuff going on under the hood there. Yeah.
Why is it that it is generally more there's almost like this feeling that's wrong and a betrayal, but then, okay, she doesn't investigate. Well, yeah, but the obvious answer is she doesn't have those same feelings. When it comes to like, this is another one of those scenarios where I have to be better than all of these people, and it's really, really, really hard, right? Because the equivalent to these guys projecting their front to me would be me running around and saying, oh, why do you do monogamous relationships? Because you're insecure. Who's like, you're threatened that you're smaller than ever the guys, and if your girl sees something, like, that would be the equivalent. But I don't say that, obviously. I think most people probably work well in monogamous relationships, like 98%, 99%. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But like, why do you turn around and then try to like make all these weird like psychological evaluations into my shit? Like, it's not like monogamous relationship you're doing too hot in the United States. What's the divorce rate? 60%? Like, bro, like, chill, Jesus.
And as she says, she had never tried being in a relationship. She decided so bad when she was really important, she had to make a case for people the age that she wasn't important to social media.
It's like so much projection. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, okay, I'm not trying to pass a law against that, but I think.
I don't know if this is actually helpful.
Yes. No, I want to point your attention towards a claim she makes. Destiny is her main partner because they don't have the energy and because it is convenient. It's initial time and energy. So they're talking about open relationships, and they say that some open relationships don't have a main partner. But in their case, Destiny is Melina's. I think all of them are polyamorous relationships, but some people engage in polyamorous relationships without having a main partner. And Melina says Destiny is her main partner, and Destiny says also that Melina is his main partner. But because it's an issue of convenience, and because it is very time and energy consuming to see what people need. So it's not an issue of feeling. I don't like it either, but I'm trying to see how they're trying to make a sense out of it, and how they try to purchase it. This is the correct way to do it. This is the correct way to have a relationship.
Well, I've never said that in my life. Okay, who are these guys? Get me on. How do I talk to them? Where are they? Why do I bother qualifying anything? I've never recommended any part of my lifestyle for anybody ever. I've never ever done that.
So it's not an issue of feeling. I don't buy that either, but I'm trying to see how they're trying to make a sense out of it, and how they're trying to purchase it, and they're saying that this is the correct way to do.
Who's ever said that? I've never said that in my entire life.
The correct way to have a relationship, and they're trying to say that, honestly, how does this not contribute to diminish feelings of self-worth if your partner tells me that you're my main partner only because it's convenient for me, and because it is very time and energy consuming for me to not have a main partner. So I think that this is enough to diminish feelings of self-worth and lower feelings of self-esteem. So it's not necessarily the social stigma. We could be doing criticism here. We could be engaging in criticism and try to tell Destiny and maybe what you're doing is bad for you. And it's not. Yeah. So let us see how Destiny evolves his line of thinking when it comes to his opinions on Manosphere.
Alright, so what are some ideas that are represented? I think they do a good job of speaking to disaffected young men who feel like the rest of the world is going to left them behind or isn't willing to speak to them, and they do identify some true real problems. The on the left have a really hard time doing like self-improvement or telling people how to better themselves. They focus much on like structural systemic issues rather than what can an individual do to uplift or empower themselves. And it also feels like they do a good job at speaking to some of the positive aspects of masculinity. That it's okay to be like a soldier and warrior and provide your family, blah blah blah. It does really go to like positive aspects. With the analysis on how men interact with way too transactional. All of us are totally sucked out of it. Everything is very like sex-based. Like you basically have sex with the most men and women possible. It's gonna make you happy.
So we have an advocate of polyamory accusing the Manosphere, telling young men to go and become many partners.
Yeah.
Jetzt, wieso geht die denn jetzt rein? Gerade eben sterbe ich da vorne. Ja, warten wir bis sie alle tot sind und dann gehen wir rein, damit wir auch direkt sterben.
Advice is just geared towards being a boy, playing people and people. Why do... Oh, I hate this art. I actually hate this art. Are these guys virgins or are they at least married? Now I'm really curious. I don't like talking about the relationships because I don't know like what the background is of a lot. It's like this would be like it's like having like chess debates online, and you're like you've got like grandmasters, and then you got a bunch of people that are like 800 elo, like telling you like, oh, black should win 75% of the time. He's like, what the fuck are you even talking about? It's so annoying listening to people everybody give their takes on this when it's like I need to know where you come from. I need like relationship status, body count, like social stat. I need like this to be listed above your head so I know what you're coming from when you say this.
Telling young men to go and become many parties.
Yeah, pretty weird. I was about to say, like, I don't find the like, that's the problem.
Yes, precisely. And yes, he's correct. And this is surprising coming from a leftist because it is true.
Well, definitely the same. He always said on liberal. He doesn't want to be associated with Vosh and all the like social stuff.
Okay, then I was unfair, and I'll admit. But it's interesting because it's good to see that it's good for people to be aware when they don't want to write. It is a good thing for people to be aware that self-improvement is important and that the left isn't. So doesn't address the issue.
Well, I'd say feminists view world class war between men and women, nuts for one another, and then they become transformed to the left of the movement. So as a result, the left has to find the fact that women and men can't. In which case, women can be self-improved, men can't. Then they might win the war. Does that mean anything? Women can win the war.
It's as if we have segregated society and like someone did.
For a constant conflict, guys going to middle left dominate themselves to be able to win.
This leads to the total disintegration of society. If there are, yes, and I think that this is a danger when we look at relationships. There is the danger of families coming apart. And if we don't have families, we don't have society. Because families are an integral part of society. And I think that is why this is an issue in technology. It sounds cool, but it's not. And it may sound bad, it may sound really, but there are dangers. And I want to think there are transactional nature of the relationships that both Destiny talks about. There can be people who do relationships with transactional men. But my God, isn't an open relationship entirely transactional? Yeah, it's just like saying, well, how can you develop a feeling of intimacy if you just say, well, whenever I want, whenever I feel like it, I just switch to another partner. This is an interesting. Yeah, I don't get it either. And the thing is that I don't know if Melina gets it either as well, because if we check the next link, we'll see Melina's nothing about relationship.
You want my honest answer? I think a relationship is contact. We'll break those. No matter what it is. You break them, you do the opposite.
Okay. Depends on the I guess so. Okay.
So he accuses the Manosphere of prompting young men to find a partner and of spreading the idea that relationships are transactional. His girlfriend goes out in public next to him and says relationships are transactional. Maybe they have issues. I'm just saying. Maybe they have issues.
I can't follow. That's okay.
Okay. How do I get in contact? Who are they on Twitter? Bring me on. Listen, if you're a red killer and you wanna...
What? Oh, ich bin so bad.
That's fine. Okay, that's great. But just stop doing this one thing. Talking about women aging out or talking about their eggs, like that they lose, it is like the creepiest, weirdest ever. It makes you sound a little bit. This, don't do this. It is so weird and creepy. Holy.
Keine Ult.
Has been slain.
Das reicht nicht, oder was? Okay. Fein dann.
Has been slain.
Oh, come on! Okay.
I've got a good feeling about this.
Ja,
Jeder von diesen verfickten Helden im Gegnerteam hat einen scheiß Low. Und jeder hebt ihn anscheinend auf, bis ich gestorben bin, um mich dann auf meine Passive zu usen. Ah, schon auf dem Klo.
In seiner glaube ich AP gespielt, werde kein AP Damage.
I want to know what barriers in the U.S. today as a woman. What's stopping you as a woman? As a woman. As a woman. As a woman.
You need to be able to answer that.
There's a pay gap, but it's because women don't want to do the hardest industries.
I don't think it's that simple. I think that's an oversimplification. I think the fact of the matter is that women structure their lives differently to men.
That's true. Wow. Sydney Watson with the correcter answer than the just Pearly brain dead things of like, pay gap's not real. Well, pay gap is real. You just explained why it's real. Because women do opt for different work. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Well, I don't know. Women do structure their lives differently, namely around having children.
I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces. Female athletes, we work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
I like how inadvertently just Pearly things and she realized she's f***ed up. She's the first woman on the panel to give a concrete example of a barrier and she did it accidentally. So these people aren't used to actually defending their idea. Concrete Pearly.
Incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
I like how inadvertently
work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
I like how inadvertently just Pearly things and she realized she's f***ed up. She's the first woman on the panel to give a concrete example of a barrier and she did it accidentally. So these people aren't used to actually defending their ideas. And now that they're on like a computational show, it's like, how are you going to sit here and challenge me on stuff related to feminism? Like, I'm just right because I say it.
So yeah, of course, it's frustrating.
Oh.
We're here to talk about feminism.
Oh, shit.
First, I just want to say we know we can't represent everybody's views, but we did try our best to bring together a diverse group of women today. In today's polarized world, is feminism dead?
I strongly think that feminism is more of an action than an identity. I would say it's uplifting all women, in which case it's very alive. At the same time, if we do follow that definition, feminism has splintered off into so many different areas that you can look at people like Sheryl Sandberg who say you should just get another nanny if you feel oppressed. And if we're talking about that kind of feminism, yeah, it's pretty dead.
There's something that we're going to have to strive and work towards to make sure that there's equality. So feminism is not dead.
I don't know that it can die. As long as there's power and oppression, there will be people fighting for equity. And until that somehow goes away, feminism is alive and well.
Okay.
I think feminism isn't actually about equality. It's about equality when it benefits us. I think feminism, it's really about women wanting special privileges and treatment at the expense of men often. And I think it's alive and well, sadly.
For me, as a womanist, as a black feminist, right, as someone who's really
Did you say as a womanist?
Human rights,
is that
dignity,
a thing?
Right, equity, right. As long as that need isn't met, we're still gonna keep fighting.
For me, I just see it as a lens, which isn't necessarily antagonistic or protagonistic. It's just a useful tool.
Similar to what Pearl just said,
That's a
I
turf
find
term.
that a lot
Gotcha.
of feminist ideology and thought today feels more of like a supremacist movement rather
Wait,
than
have I talked to this person before, or do I know this person?
something that is supposed to be advancing the goals of equality. I don't think that we can really term what's going on as feminism because it looks so different to, I think, the earlier feminist movements. So in that way,
I don't know if she's like a YouTuber or
taken
something.
its last breaths of life. It's
Oh, wait, is she the girl that Vosh said lied about being raped? Oh god, that video is so bad. Oh no. Sydney Watson, was that the one?
dying.
Oh, this was the Vosh clip.
Do you think it maybe speaks a little bit to the fact that we have a culture when we put 6 people in a room together to talk about Me Too, and when they're like, hey, who of you have experienced sexual assault? And the 4 women sit down and they've all been and they all can barely choke out a coherent sentence. Like, do we think this perhaps maybe slightly speaks to the fact that there's a problem? Like, Me Too has gone too far. False allegations are ruining people's lives. Okay. Who among you have experienced sexual assault and like every woman in the room starts crying? Like, almost every female friend I have has been the recipient of sexual assault or violence or whatever at some point in their lives. Seriously, it's such a common thing. I think 1 in 4 is probably understating it significantly. I wouldn't be surprised if the rate for sexual assault on women over one's lifetime was as high as 1 in 3 or 1 in 2. We just don't know because nobody reports, because reports aren't taken seriously. That's what Me Too is about.
User joined your channel.
Hallo, du Lappen.
Lappen.
Ich würde was sagen, du bist kein Lappen, Jan. Ne?
Ich fühle mich mehr wie ein Schwamm.
Da kann ich zustimmen.
Ah ja, wie geht's euch, Kinder?
Gut.
Schön. Ich weiß irgendwie das nicht. Kennst du das, wenn du hast dir was vorgenommen übers lange Wochenende und merkst dann aber, du hast überhaupt keinen Bock drauf. Also bei mir
Ja.
noch die Steuer.
Bei mir auch. Ich habe Steuern und meine Briefe müsste ich mal noch alle aufmachen.
Das habe ich gestern gemacht.
Ich habe dann heute aufgeräumt.
Das habe ich auch gestern. Du vor allem, genau, du schiebst dann quasi noch alles andere, was noch. Es ist nicht so unangenehm wie das, was du machen willst, aber es ist unangenehm, das schiebst du dann trotzdem noch vor. Also so geht's mir zumindest immer.
Mein zweiter PC habe ich jetzt Grafikkarte auseinandergenommen und neue Wärmeleitpaste drauf gemacht. Dann habe ich das Stream für 2 PCs eingerichtet. Dann habe ich der Werbeblocker neu gemacht. Ja.
Grafikkarte hat das gebracht.
Ja.
Ich glaube nicht, dass ich hier Gnars spielen will.
Das bringt ultra viel.
Habe ich ja erzählt, dass ich schon ewig kein League mehr gespielt habe? Das letzte Mal wahrscheinlich mit euch.
Und SATA-Kabel von meinem alten PC zu meiner meinem Hauptspeicher war kaputt. Der war immer zu 100% aus.
Das ist doch jetzt sowas, dass es dir die richtigen Runen vorschlägt, oder?
Ja. Denke ich.
Speichern. Ja, okay. Na, jetzt nochmal, was?
Ein SATA-Kabel war kaputt von meiner Hauptfestplatte. Von meiner Hauptfestplatte.
Aber warum hast du jetzt 2 PCs? Das habe ich jetzt nicht ganz verstanden.
Weil ich meinen PC gebaut habe.
Ja, ja, schau, aber warum 2 aktiv? Oder nutzt du gerade nur einen?
Oder eine streame ich jetzt.
Ja, aber du kannst doch auch von dem anderen streamen. Oder von einem, oder reicht das nicht aus dafür? Doch.
Ja, das Problem ist, wenn ich zum Beispiel Arc anschmeiße, dann ist die Grafikkarte so hart ausgelastet, dass das nicht mehr gescheit rendert. Dann kannst du nicht mal mehr YouTube-Video nebenher gucken.
Tolle Ausrede. Ja, egal. Luxusprobleme. So.
So. Oh Gott, wie geht dieses
Bist
Bild?
du überhaupt da? Ich habe noch nichts von dir gehört.
Ja, bin da.
Hi. Warum bin ich jetzt da vorne?
Weil du das Portal angeklickt hast.
Hab ich nicht.
Doch.
Nicht absichtlich. Seit wann gibt's denn da ein Portal?
Seitdem wir gemeint haben,
Jetzt wichtig.
noch härter und schneller zu sterben.
Okay, warte mal, es tut mir leid, Leute, ich muss hier was probieren, ne?
Wer bist du überhaupt? Der Cock mal, der noch nichts gesagt hat.
Ja.
Es gibt kein Ding.
Möchtest probieren, wie lange du auf eine Base stehen kannst, bevor du gekickt wirst?
Ja. Report hast du sicher.
Das dauert nicht lang mittlerweile. Und das ist halt kompletter Turbo-Int.
Warum?
Was soll das werden?
Ja, halt ab!
Wir werden in Dino
Ich wollte gerade sagen, der Mumu pinkt sich schon. Das
Wir-
ist ja nie.
What?
Wir haben halt 3 Tanks.
Geh weg von mir.
Lass uns mal ein bisschen Tank-Items bauen.
Nein, ich spiele Tank.
Doch, Tank-Item.
Ah, ich komme mir ein bisschen hilflos vor. Was mache ich denn? Wie ist denn die Combo bei Leona? E
Aktivierung, E-Auto-Tech.
und das W aktiviere ich wann?
Immer. Wenn du reingehst.
Das ist wieder ein paar schlecht. Was?
Okay. Ich habe keine Tank-Speed.
Ach, komisch.
Verstehe ich nicht.
Ich auch nicht. Also bei dem Item, da musst du doch eigentlich unendlich viele Tech-Speed haben.
Ja, habe ich auch da. Ne?
Und warum hast du das? Hey, wo ist der?
Alter, ich hab schon 2 Kills. Ich alter Tank. Ne? Geh weg!
Was max ich?
W.
W.
Oh Gott. Oh Gott. Oh Gott.
Nein?
Oh Gott.
Wetter hier.
Alter, ich dodge allem, ne? Junger Tank.
Eben nett.
Geh doch weg von mir!
Das sehen.
Der Set, der jagt mich. Komm, Jan, komm. Bin doch ein Tank.
Oh, ich hab ne Ult.
Oh Gott.
Oh, das war vielleicht ein... Ja, nevermind. Ich hab gedacht, wir gehen nach vorne, jetzt sollen sie alle zurücklaufen. Leona hat keine Ult mehr.
Ich geh mir einen Heal holen, ne? Der Set, der jagt mich.
Zum Glück hast du Tank gebaut.
Ja, ich. Das glaubst du doch nicht, das war tatsächlich der Gedanke da dahinter.
Aber wenn du Damage hättest, könnte ich dich vielleicht auch verteidigen. Haha. Habe ich euch schon von dieser 3-0 Leona erzählt? Die gefühlt mich auch nicht gespielt hat.
Oh, ich glaube, ich hätte andere bauen müssen, ne?
Dass ich mich jetzt einfach töten vor dem Nasus? Gold hab? Ah, okay. Was ist das? Ich kenne die Items nicht mal mehr.
Keine Sorge, Boys, ich brauche jetzt Träne. Noch ein paar Dinge, ne? Dann können wir spielen endlich, ne?
Rein da!
Alter, dieser Tank-Kopf, Mann, ne? Ist schon ein bisschen sexy, muss ich sagen.
Ah, nur du willst doch einfach nur provozieren.
Hä, warum?
Es ist so unglaublich in. Wir haben 3 verschissene Tanks und du kaufst ein Item, wo du inkompetent sein musst mit vielen Gegnern, um mehr Resistance zu bekommen.
Ja, weil die alle auf mich draufgehen. Flat,
Das ist
set.
einer, der eventuell auf dich drauf geht. Und wenn es mehr wie einer ist, ist es schlecht position.
Gott, Johannes, ist deine Schuld.
Ich weiß nicht.
Nee, Boys. No.
Oh, okay. Regnet. Wie habe ich jetzt den angeht? Oh nee, habe ich ein Aktiv-Item gekauft? Raus. Warum helfe ich dir?
Warum hilfst du mir nicht gleich?
Das hat nichts geändert.
Doch.
Und 3-0, 3-3 kommen. Dann
Oh, ich brauch noch kurz 100 Gold.
Hallo?
Hallo?
Kein Musik mehr. Portal muss man sich halt auch erst gewöhnen. Weg. Oder? Da ist was drin. Oh, nicht gut. What?
Oh, das war gar nicht der letzte Schuss. Oh, dann brauche ich hier. Uff.
Shut down. Shut down.
Können wir den killen, wenn ich ihn erwische?
Mhm.
Tried so hard. Ach, das wird krasser. Ach, das Portal verändert sich dann auch, okay.
Oh, ich brauche noch 100 Gold. Ich hätte halt unbedingt 3 gebraucht. Schlecht.
Der Zilian geht mir auf die Nüsse.
Oh, Level 2 halt.
Wie nach Team-Diff aus, oder? Vielleicht haben wir es gar nicht gespielt, glaube ich.
Liegen, dass der
Die
letzten
gefühlt hat der
AFK.
Das sind der Typ. Den neuen kannst du noch was vorwerfen.
Ja, doch, 5 Minuten AFK und seitdem verlieren wir Fights.
Nasus steht halt immer auf mir drauf und gibt mir die weh.
Alter, ist der schnell. Natürlich erwischt's den. Nimm mal den Video.
Kann ich nicht.
Dann gemeint.
Nimm ihn doch einfach.
Muss vorher sagen. Ich hab den Chin.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Enemy killing spree.
Ach, wehren. Er läuft wieder auf mich drauf. Und
An enemy has been slain.
Ich habe immer noch Agro. Nurses endet. Der Udi ist wieder AFK.
Es ist nicht genug mediated. Vielleicht wäre Iceborne besser gewesen. Aber dann habe ich nichts gegen den Blatt.
Item-Bild auf Udi Standard?
Das ist das Damage-Bild.
Glas, das sieht also Glascannon aus.
Ja, ich sehe, was der gemacht hat, da kurz vor Ende war mit den zwei. Der hat den Flat fast one-shottet.
So. Aber ich muss jetzt noch einkaufen. Dani ist jetzt auch wieder da. Ich denke, dass ich später nochmal online komme. Bis dann.
Ja.
Ja.
Mit 25.000 Mediate? Nicht so. Oh, der Flip war übel.
User disconnected from your channel.
Okay, ich hab keine Lust mehr. Oh, der ist Apfel.
Enemy killing spree. An ally has been slain. Shut down. Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
Nimm jetzt FF bitte.
Because of cultural differences, which I don't feel like is such a good.
What? Bullshit! Are you f***ing kidding me? Did she turn her f***ing rape confession onto how the refugees, Ahmed Muhammad, her and the police were like, oh, we can't persecute brown people? Bullshit!
I mean, do you buy that claim? I don't know. I mean, like, there is like an argument that Vaj has here. He just like probably did it in probably one of the worst possible ways you could ever possibly do it. And honest to God, I don't even know. There might be, man. Dude, I've heard so much random shit between like reporting stuff based on like race and ethnicity and shit that I'm not sure. I don't know anymore, man. Damn, that's a rough one. Who knows? It's possible. I wouldn't outhandedly deny it. I'd have to look for more stories about it. But then again, I'm not as comfortable as Vosh is when it comes to just like blatantly shutting down. Somebody telling the story is just absolutely fake. I think it was it in Sweden where they said they were no longer going to record races for like crime stats? I don't think that's just like
Ich will mal aufgraben.
ammunition to the other side when you do stupid shit like that. Like it's just not, that's not a good look.
Yeah, I definitely think it's getting more and more radicalized for sure. So it's definitely still.
I think I'll preface and say that I don't know so much about modern Western feminism, and there might be a lot of terms that I don't know, like political jargon and stuff. But I believe in the advancement of women, whoever considers themselves a woman. I think there's a deficiency in society. So it's deeply rooted that feminism has always existed. I think America's a little obsessed with themselves, and it's like always feminism is rooted in America. And like, oh, white women started it. And it's kind of offensive because for thousands of years, women have been dying for their rights.
I think as a Black woman specifically, when you talk about feminism, yeah, the mainstream first thing you think about is a certain type of feminism that tends to exclude still, even today, even with intersectional feminism, exclude African American women. And it's always kind of done that. And also like upper middle class white women has predominantly been the face of what we quote unquote consider feminism.
I think feminism is attempting to say, okay, the first thing we agree on is that there are barriers and friction to what I need and what I want based on the fact that I'm a woman. What it ignores is that, and what privilege is that you may not have to think that being a woman and being a Black woman and being a Black woman who has a disability, for example, impacts you further. You have more barriers, you have more friction, you are less able to get what you want. You're undervalued in a way that's like, okay, well, you know, that's life. That's what I mean by equity, and that we're able to, without friction, all get the same needs met.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, see, I disagree with that. I think life is easier if you're a girl.
I feel like for just pearly things, you can basically take whatever the most aggressive red pill position will be and then just print that opinion. And that's always going to be what she says. Like just whatever the most aggressive, like anti-woman, like red pill opinion is, she's always going to say exactly that.
If this was Pearl's world, I'd get rid of birth control. I'd ban it, but that'll never happen.
Jesus.
I think
Ow.
that's the root of all evil. And I'd actually go for the root of all evil.
The root of all evil. That's what she said. Okay, my girl.
Say it. I don't think women should vote. Huh? I don't think women should vote. I don't think women should vote.
Lord Jesus, keep on going.
Yeah, that's
no
it.
women, you can't vote. No birth control. Keep it going.
No, because it's always freedom without responsibility. And
I
so,
love
like,
it.
the
Women
reason
should not
no,
vote.
but,
Pearly
but
said it herself.
I'll tell you why, though. I'll tell you why. Because it's freedom without responsibility.
I love
and before women, like I believe in consequences for your decision. So the men know if they vote someone batshit crazy into power, you guys get drafted. We don't. Women decide elections. We're 55% of the population. I think if we want to vote, equally draft us. Y'all want equality. And
Ja,
personally,
aber
I
Frauen
don't
wollen
wanna
auch
get
nicht, dass
drafted,
ihr Mann
so I'll get
stirbt.
a chance.
Like, how many times do you think at some point I should have like a bingo card? At some point, is she gonna bring up like how women aren't in the draft here, like at this in this conversation? It's always like shit like this. It's always the same points.
Actually, I think there's a lot of benefits that men don't have. I'm not going to speak anything to race. I'm just talking about gender specifically. It's usually like an excuse. Like, honestly, I think as a girl, you have equal opportunity in the world. I think there's benefits. Like, for example, we have quotas for women in specific jobs that are given to us that aren't given to men. So yeah, I would say it's easier being a girl.
Just from a viewpoint over here, though, it seems there's a lot of pretty privilege in what you're saying, and that you're white and you present.
Do you think I'm pretty? Thank you.
I think that you present in a way that beauty standards have accepted. And so
they call me ugly on the internet all the time. They be roasting me daily, I swear to God.
There a certain value that we give to certain bodies.
I mean, let's also dig into why these quotas exist and why these, what you're calling
because
privileges
we want
exist.
special treatment.
No, it's because there have historically and presently in most jobs been fewer women.
Ja, aber nicht, es muss nicht überall gleich viele Männer und Frauen geben. Muss es einfach nicht. Jeder macht, was er will.
Women don't have barriers?
Women, yeah. What's
We have
stopping
no
you? You can do whatever you want. What's
I
stopping
can
you?
or you can?
What's stopping you? As a woman.
As a woman. See, that ignores a lot that I'm a woman.
You need to be able to answer that. That's cringe as fuck that you don't have a single fucking answer. That's a really common question you're gonna hear, especially if you're pushing hardcore feminist stuff. What's stopping you from succeeding today? You've got a ton of affirmative action. You've got a ton of cultural support. You've got a ton of social support. You got a lot of government support. What's stopping you? You have to have an answer for that. If you don't have an answer, what the fuck are you doing advocating for your position here?
Woman with a disability, so there's a lot stopping me that you don't have.
Yeah, but a man with a disability have problems too. What do you mean a woman with a disability? You're just a person with a disability. That's fucked there. Is it harder for women with disabilities? If so, explain how.
Think about.
Well, as I said before, I'm speaking about women. I'm not.
You're speaking for yourself.
You're speaking as
an
able-bodied
woman.
I
That is white. Represents white.
Of course, there's going to be other barriers if you're disabled. I'm sure. Like I'm talking about as a woman.
So you're just going to ignore.
What's your answer to this question? Right now for women, I think that the issues. I think that the issues that women face, it is a very subtle and very nuanced conversation. The idea that like women are hardcore oppressed or kept down in society, as of 2022, I don't really think it's true anymore. I think we've moved on past that, pretty well past that. Now we can get into very, very, very subtle cultural conversations about it. And that's where the conversation should be moved to. But if you're out here using words like oppression, probably not anymore. Not in the Western world, at least. Now, if you want to talk about like in places in Africa or the Middle East or maybe Eastern Europe or whatever, sure. But in the Western world, I think we're good.
White women have it easier, yes. I would agree.
What?
You're just going to ignore the pay gap, regulation over bodies.
The pay gap has been disproven and debunked
the pay gap doesn't
endlessly,
exist.
my friend.
It doesn't.
so
It's
funny.
the industries that women pick.
Let's talk about it.
There's a pay gap, but it's because women don't want to do the hardest industries.
I don't think it's that simple. I think that's an oversimplification. I think the fact of the matter is that women structure their lives differently to men.
That's true. Wow. Sydney Watson with the correcter answer than the just pearly brain dead things of like, pay gap's not real. Well, pay gap is real. You just explained why it's real. Because women do opt for different work. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Well, I don't know. Women do structure their lives differently, namely around having children, right? That's true.
Men don't give birth. Men don't have to carry pregnancies. Men don't have to be the primary caregiver most of the time. Women also don't hold jobs for as long as men do. They often will stop and start. They'll go back into work. They'll take time off. They'll take part-time jobs. The way that men work and women work are astronomically different. And to try to say that they're comparable is where this issue comes from. They're not comparable.
Two things. First of all, let's dig into why they think that they should take these jobs, which is societal sexism. And then also, actually, Department of Labor, all statistics, at least speaking in the U.S., have found that when compared for the same jobs,
einfach andere
particularly when it pertains to race.
Bedürfnisse ist falsche Wort.
Is vanishingly small though, right? That 13% or the 20% one that gets cited, that's aggregate wages across all sectors. Once you start controlling for sector and everything, there is a pay gap that exists, but I believe it's less than 5%. It starts to get much, 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 much smaller.
60% of women have never asked for a raise. So how can you complain about your pay if you don't ask for it?
Hey, what happens when women ask for a raise? Sorry, I've been wanting to say something, but I want to be respectful. I don't want to interrupt people, and I want to let them finish their thoughts.
Jump in, just
but you know,
go through the wall.
When I'm thinking about feminism, I'm always thinking about who's not part of the conversation. What are the barriers? How do we think about equity? How do we think about self-empowerment and agency and having a voice, right, and having choice, and thinking about our basic human rights. Education, access to health, homes, like having bread, having food, and those things are very important, right? And they're at the crux, right, of what a lot of us here know that we need. It's like there are the barriers, right, that we constantly ignore that are very much systemic and microaggressive, right? We see them and experience them every day.
Like what in the U.S.? Like what?
What would you like to know an example of?
I know you said that there's like barriers. I want to know what barriers in the U.S. today as a woman.
Well, as a woman or as a woman of color? Let's be.
Come on. So you don't have an answer then? What do you mean?
Specific
as a woman. I said
and we
as
don't.
a woman.
Well, no, I can't answer as a woman.
Then the issues aren't about women. The issues are racial. Then what are you doing?
It's kind of hostile when you're like, there are no barriers to what I want. Congratulations. That means you have a privilege where you're not facing any friction, and that's showing. And I feel like it's
I think as an American, you're very privileged. Like,
I'm not ignoring that.
Yeah,
or like a basic level of what the feminist movement is when it comes to just being born a woman, right? Physically, pound for pound, we are born as women and we have less lean muscle mass than men. So there are issues of violence and assault and stuff like that. And so therefore, there are policies, there are things to help women physically, like, for example, I believe.
Damn, do you think a black woman like shows up to these like oppression panels and she's like, I got this shit on fucking lock. And then some fucking white bitch missing her legs rolls in and you're like, oh, this motherfucker.
Being able to carry a firearm and being able to use that safely to defend yourself against men who are born naturally with more muscle mass than a woman.
I keep hearing the term equity. What would a world that has equity look like? Like, would it be 50% of everyone in the same jobs? Would it be like prison, 50%? That's equality. 50%. So what does equity look like?
So equity is generally described as a state of fairness because historically a lot
Oh my God, that was so tautological. What is equity? What is equity truly? Well, equity is fairness. Okay, you didn't tell me anything. Like 1 is 1. Thanks, Chief.
people have been arguing for equality, but what does that give us? Like 0.5 of the 1% being women. This doesn't really do anything for us. And so people have talked about equity instead, which is instead of sameness, it's fairness. And
what does that mean?
Would mean that we remove systemic barriers to
like what?
To engage in society.
These are all these terms are so academic, right? Like, can you give me anything in the real world that doesn't sound like you're pulling it out of a fucking textbook? Which systemic barriers? What do you feel like needs to change? Give me like 1 or 2 like measurable changes that you'd want to see in society. What are 1 or 2 things that we could work on? Anything.
Not just for women, but also for everyone.
So which barriers?
Yes.
Those barriers that you don't believe in.
Is anybody gonna give a single answer to any question here?
What does it do for you to have a bunch of ramps in your life? It doesn't do shit. I need those ramps, right?
Can we stick to male versus female? That's my question. So I'm thinking male versus female.
But my feminism includes ability. It includes
my
race.
Question.
No, okay. That's fine if you want to include it there. But like, obviously, we're talking about a fundamentally different question here.
Can talk.
Women versus men. Like, what barriers do we need removed? Because that's my statement. I'm not stating anything else. I'm stating women versus men.
They don't have a single answer.
Like, so what barrier? I just want
The question is silly.
So, yeah, but
It's not a
The
fair
dog
question.
shit.
How is it not a fair question?
Warum gehst du auf ein Panel, wenn du mal die simpelste Frage beantworten kannst?
Anybody who's not white, why we hear feminism and we don't want that label because it means, I'm just gonna say, it means that. Like, it means that you've already gotten to a pinnacle of whatever you think your happiness needs or whatever your survivalist needs are, when there are people on lower end who are trying to survive, who are trying to get to a point of what should be normal.
What does any of this have to do with feminism? Who are these people?
based on what other people have.
It sort of sounds like you're saying feminism is not always inclusive then.
Right. It's most of the time it's not inclusive. It's more of the times than not, it's not. So, and within just feminism space, again, there obviously the very basic is male versus female versus, you know, but unfortunately, we've only had one subset of women be the face and voice and the academic research and everything to be able to say, well, that's the standard we need to be in, when there are other people who are still trying to get to some type of
white women
normalcy and just living.
What is the biggest issue then that feminism faces?
I think it's the mindset. Women taking like the agency, women taking initiative. I think it's mindset holding them back a lot, because if you want to be in a competitive world and compete, you have to have the right mindset. And I think a lot of people blame their lack of confidence or what society tells them for the reason they're not achieving what they need to achieve, when that's not the case. You have to have the mindset of achieving, because the men who built the world had the mindset of building it. So the women who want to engage and build that further, they need to have that same mindset.
I don't think we do. I think that's like assuming that we all want to be capitalist babies. Right. I think that
Oh my God.
No,
How did capitalism get roped into this now? What?
men are not well adjusted in the society, and women are not trying to re-embody what they have built for us. I think that like what we're forgetting is a very important detail, which is just like human respect and dignity. Yeah. And not asking people to prove what their experience is and to prove to you. Like, it is like such conservative thinking to say like, I don't understand, explain it to me, versus just saying, I don't understand and let me respect what you are saying.
I'm respecting wherever your starting point. I'm respecting that. I'm really respecting that. I'm saying that if you don't have the mindset you can even achieve it, you're never going to even try. So it's never
achieve what? Like, what are we talking about? Because I feel like they projected this like capitalist ideology on every woman.
Achieve whatever it is you're looking for, equality, equity. But what
People like will smuggle anything they want into their ideology to like do whatever they want with it. Like, we're not even talking about feminism at this point. We've talked about racism, we've talked about ableism, like handicapped people, and now we were talking about capitalism. What does any of this have to do with feminism?
What I'm saying is women in the feminist space and a lot of these other spaces, we don't acknowledge that we have to take the initiative. We have to take the action. We have to have the mindset. We have to demand those things.
I don't understand how we're getting so off topic. This is about feminism today, whereas everybody wants to make this about their individual, here are all the multitude of other things that factor into my person. Great.
Yeah.
This is about feminism. It's about womanhood. I understand that all of you have your own individual experiences and the other things that feed into you as a person. That's perfectly fine. But this is where intersectionality falls off the planet and loses, I would argue, probably the vast majority of people, including me. I'm not even a feminist. I don't give a crap about feminists arguing amongst themselves about who's the most victimized. But this is annoying to listen to. I honestly I don't understand anything anybody's even trying to get at.
Look, I just want to say that I don't think equity and this concept of competition can't coexist with each other. Equity is building more facilities for people who need them. It is.
Okay, you almost said something. Okay, this is something that I started doing, I think, about a year ago. That I figured out. Okay, when you're talking about any issue, give an example. Okay, it's really good. Sometimes I'll explain some complicated or some esoteric bullshit or whatever, you know. And then at the end of it, I'll always be like, for example, and then boom. When you're giving these examples, or when you're giving these like academic, or you're giving these like broad like macro perspectives or whatever, give an example so that we can ground this out on something real. Because I don't know what building facilities. We haven't talked about anything real this entire conversation. Give an example.
Is recognizing that there are holes in the market and there's opportunities for women and feminine expansive people and meeting those opportunities. I think equity can buoy the pre-existing system that we live in a good way.
And this is where we're going to get to what I think the real feminist arguments are based off of policy. And abortion is the biggest one.
How many of you would identify as pro-choice? Let's do a show of hands for pro-choice.
I feel like pro-choice is pro-life, though.
Yeah. Okay, and folks who identify as pro-life, why do you identify as each?
You've gone from legal, safe, rare to, yeah, I'm so proud, let me beatbox in front of the Planned Parenthood, yeah, I got murder on my mind. The fact that it's celebrated that murdering children, especially in late-term pregnancies, is celebrated, that people are so proud.
That shit is ultra cringe. You ever see people doing that at protests, telling them to get the f out and leave? That shit like, oh, I love murdering babies. Oh, like, bro, Lee, get the f out of here. You're so fucking cringe. Leave, just fucking leave. You fucking cringe loser.
Proud of themselves for mutilating a fetus is just, it blows my mind. And I don't think that you need to be pro-life to even take that stance.
You said late-term pregnancy.
Yes.
A lot of abortions do not have.
I made the
late-term
distinction.
pregnancy.
I made the distinction
Right.
specifically because
Right.
lots of people still celebrate. There are people who, when the laws were passed, actually here in New York, they said, yes, great, yes, I love the fact
but
that.
you need to ask about what are people celebrating, right? They're celebrating access. We're not
Well, that's
celebrating
okay.
killing kids. Like that's
But
not what
then
it
why-
is.
well, so this is what I'm saying.
So like, here's the thing: when we're talking about access to reproductive health and to abortion rights, right, and to being pro-choice, listen, that's your body. You do you.
The child is not your body.
As I go.
A baby.
It's so scary for me to hear people calling like guns the biggest equalizer for women, but taking their choices away from them at a policy level.
Why is that?
Having a gun is an equalizer.
It is.
Having rights is an equalizer.
Yeah, that's
Having
right.
choice is
Right.
an equalizer.
Just like a gun right.
And in this country,
41 forms of
the
birth
policies
control.
that are pushed to continue perpetuating patriarchy and anti-women, like taking the autonomy away from women, it is heartbreaking to see women pushing that propaganda. It's all brainwash. Like you.
Oh, it's brainwash because you don't agree with me,
No,
so
because
therefore
I've been
I'm
brainwashed.
brainwashed.
I have lived deeply institutionalized.
Ma'am,
I have lived under Islam. I'm not interested in any of that. Like, there's no like.
You're not interested in
No, I'm not interested in like
living.
thinking that like women are doing this really bad thing. Like in my religion, abortion is actually allowed. If the woman needs it, she's allowed because you know it's very interesting how like fundamental America is. Like fundamentalist.
This is nothing to
very,
do with
very like
even
deep
religion. This is very
conservative
basic
thinking.
scientific human rights.
We're also talking about people not having access to abortion clinics where they're doing the things themselves and they die, right? We're also talking about women in the hospital who are pregnant, who have chosen to stay with their pregnancy and have issues at hospitals, and hospitals that are like, oh, no, we don't do that. Listen, for whatever reason, you don't need to explain it to anybody, but a lot of times when we're talking about access to reproductive health, for me, I'm thinking about Black, Indigenous, people of color, particularly women and girls who are working class.
Black, Indigenous, people of color. That's that BIPOC. We got it.
Who do not have even access to like proper sexual education. It's the oppressive state of saying, I will force you to have a child even against your own will, right? Especially when you're thinking about women and girls who would be forced to have these children who are already living in very traumatized and scarce situations. You want to ask about barriers? That's a barrier right there.
Women in poverty aren't able to access the way that rich women are, and no matter what happens, rich women are gonna keep getting abortions, and people in poverty are gonna not. And the choice, opening it up, the overruling is marginally affecting people of color, people in poverty, way more than people who are going to get access to those abortions.
Actually,
anyway.
incorrect. You're the misquote. There's actually more abortions for people in poverty. It's just at a lower rate.
Why do you
Wait, why would you even say that? Wait, what?
think that abortion has been so tied up in this feminism conversation?
It's all just social structure set up around bodies. So if not all women are able to have babies, but it's about the barriers and value that we give to these specific bodies, right? And so if abortion happens in a woman's body, that's why this conversation is coming up.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You said that not all women are able to have babies or pregnancies. Are you saying
trans
meaning
women?
like an infertility issue?
A number of reasons. There's all kinds of reasons that not all women are having babies.
Pearl, I saw your hand up.
I think women want to sleep around and not have any consequence for it.
Hell yeah, we do.
Yeah, instead of, you know, taking personal accountability and being on birth control, they just want to like do whatever they want.
You say this like it's
I
a
think that's
bad
flippant.
thing.
Yeah.
What, dude? They have to cherry pick the dumbest feminist, but it's not. It's Vice. I bet Vice actually thinks the feminists are doing well in this conversation. It's like so unreal. Are they even trying?
Do you have any care to empower women, or is disempowering women part of your like steez?
To see this as shame, insult, guilt, need to be right. Okay. Why is it empowering to sleep around?
Like the way you speak on women is very sort of like, women just don't want to do this. Women just don't have this. Women just wanted this. And I wonder why you have so much like hatred towards women.
I don't hate women.
Where does that root in? It
I
sounds
don't hate
like
women.
you do.
I am a woman.
That doesn't mean you don't have self-hate.
I could be black and still be internalized racism.
Exactly. I'm saying specific things that you're saying, like women don't want to work, women don't want to this, women want to sleep around. Where did you learn these belief systems from?
Because, okay, the question was, why does abortion keep getting brought up? 40% of women that have had abortions have had 2 or more. 40%.
Good for them.
So what does that say to me? That means you're using it as a form of birth control, and they don't track the 60%.
What kind of abortion?
Can you let me finish? They don't track the 60% to say who in the future has abortion. So to me, it's like, why are they dying so hard for abortion? They want to sleep around with no consequences, even though you have 41 forms of birth control.
I don't think that benefits women. I think actually that benefits men, because it means that men can have sex with you without consequence. It means that you can sleep with whoever you feel like, great, but there are consequences because women are the ones who get pregnant and carry babies and give birth. In reality, for a lot of women, especially those who are doing it under duress, say that they've been raped, or that, you know, in the small circumstances where something really traumatic has happened to them, that's a medical decision. Or say that they're miscarrying and then they have to, you know, have an assisted termination. That's a medical procedure. It's not a celebration of, oh, look at the.
I think the delineation between that's a medical abortion and that's like a fun abortion is really interesting, because they're all medical. It's all a medical procedure. And so no matter what you're doing, going in there and getting it, like it's not like, oh, you're only allowed 2. It's just like, you should just be able to get a medical procedure done when it's something that you need done.
We shouldn't be desensitized to taking someone's life. That should never be an empowering factor for a woman.
I definitely agree in that, like, there should be no absolute thing any woman should do. There should not be an absolute response to incest or rape or any of these things. Every woman should have the choice of if they want to or not want to carry that child, whether it is having fun, getting incest, whatever it is. I don't glorify and glamorize abortion. I think it's a very traumatic thing. I doubt that if somebody has to do, like, if they have to do it, they'll do it. I don't think that people are like, you know, doing like have 6, get the 7th free and having fun with it. And I think that like glamorization and glorification of any side is not okay.
Did the Dobbs decision make anybody here sort of rethink abortion access, reproductive health care?
It's anti-woman. It does not center people to have that voice for themselves and their own decisions, right? It is a barrier.
If you take out the viewpoint that life begins at conception, which is a really big defining principle for both the pro-life crowd, who very, very vehemently believe that, and then obviously a lot of the pro-choice crowd do not believe that. Taking that out of the equation, you do not have just whatever kind of autonomy you want as a person. It's regardless of male or female. You can't just have free run to do whatever the hell you want. That's not how society operates. So
At no point do I have the right to tell anyone in this room what they should or should not do with their bodies.
But it's not about your body. It's not about your body. It's about the kid's body. I don't care what you do with your body.
It's my body, right? We're talking about my body.
The Dobbs decision for me reinforced how important it is that we approach these issues from a cultural perspective, because it reinforces something that I have told. But it's not about your body. It's not about.
I have a question here.
It's not about your body. It's about the kid's body. I don't care what you do with your body.
It's my body, right? We're talking about my body.
It's been a minute. I'd like to welcome Cambry back to the channel.
The Dobbs decision for me reinforced how important it is that we approach these issues from a cultural perspective, because it reinforces something that I have told many of my colleagues and peers in the past, which is that so long as you lack a cultural consensus, any issue can become a political football that can be decided by another election cycle. And so long as there is no strong consensus, I would expect this to be our
Should trans women be included in feminist conversations? How about in women's spaces?
Yes, they're women.
So I play semi-pro basketball, semi-pro volleyball. I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces. I think as female athletes, we work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
Would this be a barrier for you?
There's no barrier. There's less opportunity in some industries.
That's what a barrier is.
There's less. It's not. No. It's based on.
I like how inadvertently, just pearly things, and she realized she's up. She's the first woman on the panel to give a concrete example of a barrier, and she did it accidentally. What a fucking clusterfuck.
Okay,
hold on, guys.
Okay, so again, we work very hard for the little opportunity there is in the space because we're not as entertaining as the men. Sorry, we're just not. And so it's like you're gonna take the little opportunity that we're given, and the problem is like, we can't compete. We can't. Like, I'm 6 foot. If I go up against a 6 foot guy and I play basketball with him, he's gonna body me.
And what happens if I go up against you?
Even if I have
Wait, did the wheelchair woman just say
more
that?
of training. And so it's like you're taking away the little opportunity that we're given and we all work so hard for, and you're just giving it back to biological guys. It's like this will be the end of women's sports.
Have you tried confidence?
Eli, hold on, Minnie.
Sorry,
Eli.
confidence can't make me bench what a guy benches.
I don't
Confidence can't
understand
make
why
me
you guys
6'7".
are so hostile. She's sharing her
And confidence
experience
can't make
in
me
a
6'7".
specific
No, she's
field.
sharing
And
trans
I'd have to
misogyny.
go. No, she's not.
Did she just say trans misogyny? I've never even heard that one before. Oh my god.
She's a woman who's had an experience.
Hold on, one at a time.
You guys are so obsessed with your own experiences and your own existence, and yet when a woman is sitting here telling you, I feel as though this is unfair and this is compromising and this situation is not helping women, you guys are like, meh, meh, meh. But when you're like, I'm a black person that did this, and this, then it's valid and fair and viable.
Eli, I want to give you the chance to respond.
So this is basically a joke of a talking point. Everyone has biological advantages in sports. How tall are you?
5'11" and a half. I'm tall.
I'm 5'8". I am a trans woman.
Then this is all. If anybody's ever gonna pull this stupid talking point at you, then just go, oh, should we eliminate women's sports then? You should just ask that next. Oh, should we eliminate women's sports then? And if you want to be really edgy, if you want to be really edgy, then what you could ask is, oh, would you say that men and women are at equal risk of raping one another during a date? What does that have to do? Well, do men and women have an equal risk of raping each other during? Is a man just as much at risk as a woman? Well, what do you mean? There's biological differences in everybody, right? Would you really say that men are stronger than women? Aren't some women stronger than some men? Probably true. But broadly speaking, right? Because you're saying they're all different. There's biological differences, right? You could ask that if you want to be really edgy.
You would crush me. You would absolutely crush me.
Bone density, wrist strength.
Yeah.
Muscle density, you can't switch those.
Yeah, exactly. You would crush me.
But also, Eli, you would never play at the level that Pearl plays because you would never get there.
So let me give you a few more examples here too. So Michael Phelps produced more lactic acid in his body, which caused him to swim better than any of his competitors. This was widely celebrated. And
produced more lactic acid? I thought it said he didn't have to suffer like the byproduct of like the production of lactic acid. No, I don't remember. Michael Phelps is always like the go-to example of like, oh, he's got a long torso and he does something differently. Therefore, all men and all women can compete with each other. It's always that one example. It's always Michael Phelps. He is like the go-to trans example for.
Nobody contested it. Now, this is a performance-enhancing hormone. So we all have different bodies. And now I'm not saying that trans women who aren't on hormones should participate, but there are, I mean, every major medical and every major sports organization agrees that trans women who have been on hormones for between 1 and 3 years, depending on the organization, have the same competitive abilities.
The study that you're referencing had like 7 people participated.
That's misinformation, by the way. I'm referencing several different studies. I'm a trans woman and a researcher.
It's getting personal. I don't want it to be personal.
A lot of us live in this space where we're told that our opinions don't count because they're not the right kind of opinions, and we're constantly shouted over and talked over regardless of what we look like because there's one
group in society that basically takes precedence, and it's frustrating. So yeah, of course, it's frustrating because when we try to talk about it, we get shouted down, we get told to be quiet, we get spoken down too as well. So
Okay,
there's hostility there for plenty of women.
Let's try to make this an opportunity.
Oh, another laugh.
White woman from Australia, you live in a bubble and you're pissed that voices that have been silenced forever finally can be heard.
That's why they have the voice, because they speak up.
Okay, we're having a conversation about transgender women participating in sports, and I wanted to allow more people to participate. Jordan, I wanted to hear from you.
So I am not a professional athlete. The closest thing I have ever done to anything athletic was I used to do competitive show choir when I was younger. And I don't feel really qualified to make carte blanche statements about whether or not trans women should compete in every kind of sport. And I understand that that is kind of, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Is this person trans? Or I'm not sure.
And for me, my first inclination is to approach everything through a lens of inclusivity. But at the same time, I also can't speak accurately to every kind of sport and the different things that go into it. So I really think in these instances, the decisions are best left up to the professional governing bodies that dictate these particular sports.
I just feel like in places, as an ally, in places where there's no understanding, we can just respect and not really, like, our opinions don't matter.
Eli, I saw you nodding your head over there.
Several times. This is more than about sports. This is about free and equal participation for transgender people in social life. And the right sees this as a socially acceptable way to begin to remove trans people from different engagements in our society. So it does just start with sports or bathrooms.
Holy shit, the
or
trans
locker
genocide.
rooms, something that they find is more acceptable. And then at this point, they started to move into education, getting trans teachers fired, banning trans books. This is a route that is very effective because it's seen as more acceptable. But it's also overlooking a lot of major details. Like, I mean, do y'all know how many trans women have won national titles?
One too many.
One. It's Leah Thomas is the only one.
One too many.
If women,
too many?
if women's sports were actually going to end in some way, I mean, it's just not happening. Wouldn't you think there would be more trans women in sports when the majority of states do allow trans women full participation? International
This is a dog
titles,
shit argument.
Zero. No global titles have ever been won by a trans woman.
I want to move on to a different topic. I want to talk about Me Too and sort of this social movement that we've lived through, we're living through right now. What is the state of feminism sort of in this post-Me Too era?
We're in post-Me Too?
All right.
Tell me.
Sorry, I got distracted by the Me Too part. So I was like, we're in post-Me Too? Wow, like, no one's getting, like, sexually harassed anymore. Like, oof.
We did it, guys. We solved the problem.
I want that world. No, I think obviously the state of feminism is very much reflected right in this room. But
What do you think about the selection of people? We seem to be arguing more with the left wingers instead of the right wingers. Is the selection just f***ed all the left wingers that brain dead? I think that, again, for a lot of these like really progressive ideas, it's just like you're just not allowed to challenge any of these. So these people aren't used to actually defending their ideas. And now that they're on like a confrontational show, it's like, how are you going to sit here and challenge me on stuff related to feminism? Like, I'm just right because I say I am. Like, there's no challenge to be had here. And a lot of people just can't discuss any of these ideas anymore.
Me Too for me, right, in a particular context, means something for different people. It's a different experience for different people. In my culture and in my community, we're still working through that. There is no post-Me Too, right? We're still working through how do we have these tough conversations? How do we teach not just, you know, women, but everyone about consent? What does consent look like? What does that look like in our community? What does that not look like, right? All those things that I think it's still very complicated. But I think it starts at the level of community, right? Of like, how do we have these conversations around consent?
Sydney, I saw your hand up.
So when the Me Too thing was unfolding, I was initially like, great, I love the idea of women being able to speak out. What's been really disappointing, I suppose, for me, post Me Too, as we're calling it, is that, and especially as someone who's sort of on the right wing of politics, I think that a lot of the experiences of women on the right get a bit trivialized because there is a lot of politicizing of sexual assault. So when something legitimately happens on our side of the table and someone tries to speak up about it, there's almost an automatic disbelief. And I understand why. It's because of the believe all women type of stuff that came out of the Me Too movement, that a lot of us were like, wait a minute, no, people do use these situations for gain. People do make things up. People do lie. But it is sad to watch it happen. It makes me sad that we're here.
Jordan?
I feel like there'll never be a post-Me Too because at the heart of it, Me Too is just a phrase. The spirit of what Me Too represented will always be relevant, and that is that you are empowering individual women to advocate for themselves and speak out when they feel like they're being wrong. Ideally, you're just trying to be the most transparent and self-accountable person you can be, and you need to hit all of those fronts if you want it to last on a cultural level.
How about beauty standards? We talked a little bit about...
Are they editing out all of Just Pearlie's answers now? Are they just done showing her answers? What the fuck?
This got brought up at the beginning. How does that tie into femininity?
Sorry, I'm very into this idea because I do think it is one of the larger intersections that just doesn't get very discussed, which is, like I was talking about...
Are states allowing trans athletes? A bullshit argument, not disagreeing, just curious about reasoning. Saying that not many trans people are winning, therefore it's not a problem, is bad for a couple of reasons. First of all, if I were to put a bunch of weak men in women's competitions and then they were to lose, would that be an argument in the affirmative that men should be allowed to compete with women? Well, no, right? We could think of a ton of other reasons why... What am I doing? Oh, we could think of a ton of other reasons why trans women aren't like winning a whole bunch of national titles. There might be a lot of other barriers that they face that aren't biological or training related that's preventing them from succeeding. And once those things get fixed, maybe they'll start winning in mass. It could be because trans people are a very, very, very small percentage of the population. But most importantly, and here's the killer one at the end, let's say that it was the case that 10% of national titles were won by trans women, which is highly disproportionate given the percentage of trans women in the population. If you were to ask one of these ultra feminists, let's say trans women won 10% of the titles, do you think there's a problem then? They'd say, no, that's okay, more than likely, which goes to show that them saying, well, not many are winning, so it's not a problem, that logic doesn't hold because they wouldn't believe the contrapositive, which is you're saying that not many are winning, therefore it's not a problem. Therefore, if many are winning, it is a problem. They go, oh, no, that's not a problem either. So they don't actually care about that. It's just an argument they wheel out and they don't really care that much about it.
About before, barriers and friction are placed up around bodies. And the fatter I get, the older I get, the less people will listen to me, the less value I will have for society. So, you know, I'm already starting out as a woman with no legs. If I had something on my face, I have my beauty. That's one of my privileges. I have my whiteness. That's one of my privileges. I used to have thinness and now I'm getting fatter. Things are changing. And I think every single time that we talk about feminism, pretty privilege should be discussed because we have these ideas. If your skin tone is this, if your hair is this, if your body looks like that, it's about whether or not you are given an equal opportunity based on what you look like.
I saw it.
I think a lot of times the women that complain about beauty standards don't complain about them when they got privilege, when they were young and attractive and thin. So it's like, yeah, you're complaining when the privilege is gone, but privilege is invisible to those who have it. And women, it's a privilege. And men don't turn 18 and get looks that we get.
As a Black woman, one of the most integral parts of the beauty conversation has been colorism. I'm a dark-skinned Black woman, proud of it, and
in chat, would you guys consider Sneeko dark skin? Okay, most of you are no. Okay. Would you guys consider Myron dark skin? This is Myron right here. That's Walter? Fresh? Well, I feel like this is like poisoning the well, because you're going to think he's lighter just because he's next to a darker guy. Well, but I'm curious. I always call him Walter because I thought I heard his name was Walter once, but I don't know if it's actually his name. Okay, here. Is Myron dark skin, yes or no? I'm curious. Okay, 33% yes, 66 no. If you're not light skin, you're dark skin. Is there medium skin? There's light skin, mid-tone, and dark skin. Myron is mid-tone. Nobody uses mild tone or mid-tone? Yeah, I've never heard that expression before, but I mean, it might be something I've never heard. Okay, so DGG chat is 1/3 on Myron being dark skin, 2/3 on Myron being light or medium, I guess? Would you consider him to be lighter than this woman? He's lighter or darker or the same. Let's try this. Oh, here we go. Interesting. So it's almost 50-50 in terms of... I'm so confused. But before, you guys, like 2/3 of you said that 3 options versus 2 options. Okay, never mind. This topic. Abort, abandon ship.
So.
But I've heard that repeated enough that I feel like it's maybe true.
But some of the lighting's still good with the RG level community stuff. Use server platforms to shift between casting websites. You can stream to server via Utopian.
Oh,
thank you, Evil Fossil.
And on top of that, I'm always the type of motherfucker that's gonna keep coming back and keep trying to make shit pop. So, what layout is the worst part? The Rumble shit? That shit is ass, bro. Of course there's still a bag. There's a bag everywhere. Bro, I live in Cali. I'm not one of these weak ass niggas that's just gonna give up and all that kind of shit. Bro, I'm not fucking with no other site, bro. This is where I'm streaming until further notice. Now, when I make that fucking tweet that I got my Twitch back, fuck with me there. Also, I got a couple of things to address as well. You know, a couple of niggas speaking on me. Man, what was I about to do real quick? Why wouldn't it be censored? They deleted me. I'm deleting the word out the fucking vocabulary.
Damn. Wait, who deleted who? What got censored? The word YouTube?
Shout out to all my new subs. What up, Asia? I was like, yo, is that the real one? Yeah, big salute. Oh yeah. So I wanted to show you guys why I got a strike on YouTube. All right, let me pull it up. Now, mind you, I got the strike. Days after on a privated live stream. You said somebody want to interview me? Bro, anybody want to interview me? I need 3 bands off tops just for the fuck of it.
I need 3
Anybody that's been emailing me, yo, if you're not giving me like 3 racks, 3 to 5K, I'm cool. What the fuck you gonna ask me?
Bro. That's...
Already know. I seen who been talking shit. And I'm gonna address it.
It's a lot of money for an interview.
That's the thing. I never had beef with or whatever the fuck his name is. All right, so let me pull up why I got banned on what caused the ban, what basically what chain reacted the ban on YouTube. All right. This is why like I can't it's like it's pointless to be depressed and stressed about shit because some shit is just out of your control, bro. All right. Pull it up. YouTube, I don't fucks about smaller content creators. If I was like PewDiePie or one of these lit niggas or something like that, I would have never lost my channel.
shots on large type of shit.
Wait, Abba, have you guys made any statements on the on the Andrew Tate shit yet? Oh no. Let me just hop in my room. In my office, just in case.
Show you.
Pull me in, bruh. I'm in my Discord room. Their video.
Andrew Tate on Romania.
Did we watch this 8 days ago? I don't think we did. Oh shit.
All right, I've made it. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's up?
That motherfucker is guilty.
Damn. Wait, how do you know that?
No, I wouldn't go so far. This is what if you ask me what I believe, based on what I've read up on and anything I've seen, I think he's guilty.
If I had to put money on it, 100%. Yeah, I would agree. Now, but obviously,
I just don't believe in the idea of like a pimp who doesn't pimp his women. Like I don't buy it. Also reviewing a lot of the stuff that's been coming out from the various sources. You know, he actually was out here like DMing like 16-year-old like politicians' daughters. Like I was surprised by some of the stuff that was coming.
Wait, real quick. You're 100%. That's like a confirmed. He actually was.
Yeah.
Or is that like allegedly?
Multiple Romanian sources pulled that up. So
okay, gotcha.
So look, I didn't see the DMs myself. I can't confirm or deny. I don't probably think he was trying to go after underage. Don't make a mistake. What I think is that's how they recruited a lot of these young girls. And some of them just happened to be underage as a result.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I don't know. To me, the whole thing, reading up on the prosecutor and the one who's kind of starting this thing, and then learning about the business, and then seeing some of the old quotes and some of the stuff, even the course that he ran, and like how
that shit.
The fact that people glossed over that blew my mind.
You want to talk about self-snitching?
He was pimping.
Oh my god, dude, that was some of the biggest self-snitch shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, if you're an Andrew Tate hater and you come across that treasure trove of videos, you're eating well that night. Like, oh, so here's how I fucking defrauded them on their taxes when they're not fucking, they don't know anything, so I just rip them off and shit. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? It's like just so blatant. Holy shit.
He deleted it for a reason. He deleted those portions for a specific reason.
Jesus.
That's not an accident. And if you know anything about pimping, this idea of some kind of ethical pimp is hilarious to me. Okay? This idea that you're going to hold these women down and you treat them as property and you're never going to put your hands on. I just do not believe that. Because I think dudes are thinking about this in a normal dating context. Oh, they fell in love with me. And then I asked. That's not what pimping is.
Yeah.
That's not what these guys are doing. And when they're running all of these places with all of these women, multiple locations, 80 different women, and you got to keep them in line and keep business on point and rub hands with shady ass people, I 100% believe that you put your hands on these people. You're not treating them like women. That's not how you view them. They are
well, in their eyes, they are treating them like women, which is property, right?
Yes. But a scale that these guys wouldn't admit to publicly.
Yeah.
And so I just don't buy it now that I've seen a lot of the stuff that people posted that he deleted. But again, there's some that should go to court and that should be decided in that realm. But if you're asking me my personal opinion, like hell yeah, that's what I think happened.
I'm a little disappointed because I think my prediction that I made a while ago was that initially they're gonna say it's all fake. And then when it starts to come out like what actually happened, they're going to say, well, that's not that bad, even if that is sex trafficking. And I've already hit that phase with some people. I was finally on a show with Just Pearly Things yesterday, and yeah, she was basically asking the question like, well, were they actually physically 100% did somebody hold a gun to their heads and make them do the whole thing?
Sex trafficking is.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
If there's no violence and it's not.
Then it's not a big deal. Yeah, and that's basically where they were at, where they were like, oh, well, if there wasn't a guy holding a gun to their heads forcing them to stay there, I'm like, bro, you're flying people to other countries that have never done sex work before, ever, to do sex work for you and steal, like, a whole bunch of their money doing it. She's like, well, if they weren't forced, and it's like, okay, even if they weren't forced, if that's not sex trafficking, what the fuck do you think sex trafficking is? Like, what the fuck? Like, it has to be, like, taken, where, like, girls are, like, drugged up on fucking heroin or whatever the fuck, and they're, like, tied to a bed and, like, forced to fuck people? Like, Jesus. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Das ist ein geniales Thumbnail, ne? Einladen darf.
So that's why they wouldn't define it. Thankfully, the law doesn't operate that way. So people engaged in this kind of exploitation should be charged. And I don't really care whether you view it as tremendous amount of fraud, whether you use it as theft. I don't really care.
Irgendwie langweilig.
Dude's a criminal.
Dem allem zu.
And so charge him accordingly. Whether you, it's weird to me that people are sitting there like, well, it's not sex trafficking. Okay, well, it's a tremendous amount of fraud. He literally was telling these women they're going to get paid a certain amount and stole a bunch of their money.
And had a guide online on how to steal from them. They don't know their taxes. You get
And
them
he
a tax-
admitted to it. And he admitted to it. So what are we even talking about? This dude's he's a fraudster. Like, he hired women under pretenses and paid them less. If that was your job, you would lose your fucking mind. You would hate that employer for the rest of your life for stealing and then also profiting and then telling people how to steal from their employees. If that was you, you would 100% be pissed for the rest of your life at that person. Now it's somebody else suffering, you just want to mitigate that. Be like, well, actually, bro, I've worked some shit for some mediocre jobs. If I found out my employer was taking half of my money or 30% of my money, I'd lose it. I'd lose it on that person.
Especially with the added thing of like, not just any money too, but these are girls that had never had a history in sex work and are now like doing cam work that's going to kind of sort of change their like careers, the trajectory of their lives forever. And they're getting stolen from on top of that. And they're in another country where they don't speak the language. And they're in some fucking, like, there's like so much shit where it's like, bro, in any other context, if this was fucking Bill Clinton's like cam studio and he was doing this shit, bro, you guys would be losing your mind. If this was like the fucking Indian cam studio, you guys would be losing your mind. But because it's fucking Andrew Tate, it's like, well, maybe the girls really liked him. They all 75 women were just loyal to him in the basement. It's like, bro, get the fuck out of here. It's so stupid. Oh my god.
The amount of like
simping,
obfuscation and simping that's
of
happening.
deep throating, of throating Tate's cock. It's like actually shameless, dude.
I would also say this. One of the most surprising aspects about this whole thing for me has been when I hear people defending him and they're going all the way to pretend like nothing is happening. I'm like, bitch, I know if somebody ran a drug operation even half as large as what this guy was doing sex trafficking, and the allegations came out that this dude was beating people up or he had to kill some people who were snitching on his operation, they wouldn't even hesitate to believe that.
Yeah.
But now that it's this dude in sex trafficking and he's running this huge operation, everybody want to act like nothing happened. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, go for it. Hey, thanks to the guy in YouTube chat that said he was going to give me his Tesla. I appreciate it, my dude. I'll take good care of it.
Sorry about that. I didn't want to cook the content, but
No, you're good.
Yeah, it's just fascinating that people who like constantly spend all day talking about how illogical women are and all this other stuff are running such crazy amount of interference, looking for the most unlikely. Do you guys really believe a pimp never put his hands on women, never treated them like property, or took them when they didn't want to? You really believe that? Then you don't know shit about pimping. And so I just have a hard time. To me, it makes the whole scene seem like much bigger grifters. If you just want to say, hey, I'll wait for the evidence, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a reasonable stance for me if you want to go there. But anything else in regards to like, oh, he definitely didn't do it, or these bitches is lying, I'm like, bro, how could you say that? How could you say that with such certainty? The fact that you're not even willing to wait when the prosecutor is going this hard on this case is, to me, it screams a tremendous amount of bias and most likely a lot of grifting.
Yeah,
that's
I always say that like I always have this dream that like I wish in another world like Kushner could have been like Hillary Clinton's son-in-law, or I could see like how people would act in another life, like if it was like the other side doing it. I feel like this is kind of like my ideal wish in terms of like you got a guy who's charged with a thing where women have come out, and it's like not only that, this feels like a Boondock skit. The guy's got like a whole fucking video series on how to pimp, how to seduce girls, how to get your other girl that you're already pimping to convince that girl to join your pimp fucking shit, how to steal money from them. He's got a whole YouTube series on it, and people are still like, I don't know, it kind of seems like a setup to me. And it's like, are you fucking serious? Like, do we need his grandma there saying like, this is Andrew Tate, like I know him, like 100%, like it's actually the most unbelievable shit in the world. It's like, what else could there be? Yeah, I don't know, dude, it's fucking wild shit to me.
So I think he's also spoken about this openly. He says, I've had to do some illegal things. I had to do things I don't want out public, or I don't want the cops. I think that I remember watching the video where he's talking about police raid, and he had to flush a bunch of stuff down the toilet and do a bunch of illegal things in order to make his money because he didn't want the cops to find the stuff. But like, he's already admitted to doing illegal stuff, things that are against the law. And you're surprised that he might be doing more illegal stuff that's against the law? Like, in what world? You know what I mean? Like, this dude's admitted to this stuff publicly. So how can you sit there and say he would never do this when he's already admitted to doing a number of crimes already? That's why I don't understand how they can be so strong. And then I realize it's not logic based. I think being aligned with Andrew Tate is extremely profitable.
Yeah, for sure. The pimp, or not the pimp, the grift is like there's so much money to be had. Yeah.
Right. Like just if you say you're on his side and you put those videos out publicly, like there's a lot of money to be had from like that kind of anti-establishment crowd, or people who want to believe like, well, the system is coming for Greta Thunberg or some other bullshit.
Yeah, there was fucking Greta made the phone call. You guys are fucking unhinged. Holy shit.
Yo, bro, even Patrick Bateman, whatever. Like, and I like that dude. I like him. Even he was like, the timing is very bizarre. I'm like, are you serious?
You mean this investigation that ran on since fucking April? Like, come on, he's already had his house raided before he tweeted at fucking Greta, okay, dude? Jesus.
It's almost as cringe as the people who thought the pizza box shit was true. Like, I was like, are you retarded? Do you really believe that the Romanian government doesn't know when people are coming in? Like, they're not part of the EU, right? So as a result, you have to go through passport. You can't just, well, he has a private jet. Even if you got a private jet, you can't just land and then bypass everything. Like, they keep a record of who comes in.
Yeah, do you think they're like flying their jet into somebody's backyard? Like, bro, it's airspace in Europe. Like, it's gotta be pretty carefully monitored. Like, holy shit.
I mean, you can literally track Elon Musk's jet anytime you wanted.
Yeah.
And now they think like Andrew Tate's jet is not trackable by the fucking anti-terrorist, organized crime unit. It's bullshit. So there's a lot of people who are just doing a lot of political grandstanding where it's like, well, the Greta Thunberg, it was the left is the one who helped take. Just shut up. Everybody just shut up. But as far as me thinking he's guilty, yeah, I think so. If you're asking me personally. But that shouldn't matter in regards to how the legal proceedings happen.
Yeah, for sure. They should all play out. They need evidence. They should do everything by the book, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing I'm curious about is that like if it comes down that he gets charged and then the trial and he's convicted and it's even like compelling, I wonder how everybody's gonna change their tone. Like are they just gonna be like, oh, all of it was fake and I just don't believe any of these people? Or are we gonna like 180 on the Me Too shit now? Like did we go too far and now it's like believe no women, they were all paid off and it's all bullshit? Or are they just gonna be like, oh, you know, maybe he did some bad stuff and we're just gonna pretend we never covered for him?
I think that it's going to be what it normally is, which is there's some people who are going to always never believe, and they're going to say this is all a CIA, American government putting pressure to the left or whatever. Then there's going to be people in the middle who are like, well, he's found guilty. You know, it is what it is. That dude must be guilty. And then you're going to have the people who's like, I always knew that motherfucker was a sex trafficker. Fuck him. So I think it's going to be a mixture of those three responses. Because I don't believe, even if he's found guilty and all the evidence comes out, that Sneeko wouldn't stop sucking his dick.
Probably. Yeah.
That's never going to end. That dude will not abandon his second daddy. And I think for those people, it's an ideological. It would mean that they would have to revisit their whole ideology. And I don't think most of them.
Yeah, because Tate's like a fucking role model for these people, like in every single thing he does in life.
Yeah, and to be fair, I understand why. Like, there is something very appealing about somebody. I know you disagree, but there is, in a world where a lot of political correctness exists, a lot of people feel like they can't speak on certain things. Someone just unabashedly speaking does appeal to a lot of people. Somebody, I'm not talking about the whole go work out and improve yourself. I don't think he's doing anything special there. But I do understand those kinds of voices being very appealing. It's the same reason why I feel like Trump was very appealing to a lot of people. People love those kinds of personalities that one not only call out power, but also, you know, constantly rail against the establishment. Even from prison. I think one of his assistants from prison, one of his assistants got on Twitter. It was like, the Matrix has come for me. Like, they'll never stop this shit. Like, that is their brand, and that's appealing to a lot of people.
I can agree with what you're saying there. The thing I don't like is when these red pillars like bounce between both worlds, because what I think is that like Andrew Tate was popular because of like this whole like Matrix shit and like calling out the system or whatever. But like a lot of people are like, oh no, people just don't like him because the reason he got popular is for like his self-help stuff and all that. And it's like, bro, and it might just be that people are exceptionally stupid, but like, let's be real. Andrew Tate didn't contribute anything new to the self-help space, okay? Like, you know, work out, invest in yourself, all this shit. Like, people have been saying this shit for probably decades, if not centuries, okay? There's like nothing new. Andrew Tate has not contributed a single new fucking thing at all, except for maybe, you know, putting Bugatti into the lexicon of like the average fucking, 17-year-old male. Yeah, like it's not like he's saying anything new, but yeah, it's definitely like all the Matrix shit.
Must have skyrocketed because I didn't know what a Bugatti was.
For sure, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, he put Bugatti on my map too. Where I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's a nice car.
Yeah.
I will say the way I disagree with you is I think it doesn't really matter. I don't think most people contribute new things to the space. I don't believe that that's anybody's contribution vast majority of the time.
Sure, yeah.
I just think that his charisma, his ability to do things, his ability to garner views, his attitude and his demeanor and his consistency with a lot of the stuff that he's been saying is probably what garnered him so much affection and love from his fan base. Especially, I still stand by this whole idea that like young men are very starved for male role models in the real world. Whether you think he's a good one or not, that's not the point. I just understand why he became so popular, and that's not something I would ever take away. Because he is charismatic. He is funny. Like, I've watched him in a few interviews, and I've had some laughs, and I can understand why he's so appealing, especially when he's owning people or he's holding opinions that I think a lot of men do find appealing, or does like reinforce like a worldview that they like, and he does so unapologetically. So for them, it's like it's refreshing to hear a man say, well, women are property. If you feel that way, and the man saying this on a public platform in face of all the feminism and all the stuff that exists in the world, it stands to reason. I can understand why he's popular. It's not that he's doing something new; it's that he's doing something that has always been kind of true to a lot of people, but he's doing it publicly without reservation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's
So-
like the
so-
Trump thing. Like he's saying things that a lot of other people are thinking, but they don't
Drain the
really
swamp
feel
is
like.
not a new thing. Okay, sorry. Drain the swamp is not. Oh, corruption's bad. Like we know
Mhm.
that's not new. But him doing it publicly, not apologizing for it. Even me, I used to laugh at a lot of Trump interviews. Like I would get roped in a little bit too by the persona of like just I don't care. And so yeah, I understand why he's so popular. And I think for those people, they don't want to lose their hero, right? So
Yeah.
you know what it is? Do you, with all the Tate stuff developing as it is, do you think that if he disappears, that changes anything for some of these content creators? Or are they just gonna look for the next thing to latch onto? So the ones who are grifting.
It'll be the next thing. This is something that I've said a lot. Is that like you can ban people, but you can't really get rid of ideas. And I don't think that the banning people over and over again has done very well so far. I think we need to do a better job at like talking about these ideas and opinions and not rely on like content moderation to get rid of everything. Something that I've said that's kind of like my biggest fear, and a lot of people don't realize it, is the worst possible outcome to everything is that, could you imagine if like Truth Social or Gab or one of these alternative media platforms, imagine if they actually grew to like a respectable size. Like now you've actually created your own worst nightmare, which is an unmoderated, like massive haven for people to go and get
I
fucking
think
radicalized,
they already
like,
did,
do
actually.
shit or engage in some crazy fucking whatever. And now there's just no way to hold them accountable for anything, because now you can't cry to like Twitter or Facebook to like, please ban these people, like we don't like this speech or whatever. So yeah, I don't know.
This is gonna be a hot take. I don't think these platforms will ever grow big.
Ah man, I don't know, dude.
You know what? I just don't think there's enough money in it, and I think any of the dudes who do get big would just get taken over by some of the larger places that offer more money. I don't think these places will ever be ad friendly, and if they ever became ad friendly, it would necessitate for them to become just like YouTube.
Ja, es kommt drauf an.
That's been how it's gone traditionally. Like I think even Gab, I think, was having to ban certain types of content because they were trying to appeal to advertisers. My only worry is that eventually, if a switch gets flipped, and eventually like so many people get sick of like certain types of messaging, that it does become a little bit more friendly to advertisers. You only need like the C tier, D tier advertisers to start to move in. If you start to get people that can make a living off of like Rumble, which I think some people are, not many, but off of like Rumble and Gab and Truth Social and shit, if that starts to happen a little bit, what I'm worried about is like if a snowball effect happens, like you're fucked, because once it starts, you won't be able to stop it. I do agree right now, it doesn't seem to be the case, but Rumble's made like pretty big investments in like their data infrastructure and like hosting services and all that. And you do get paid ads and all that.
Rumble's going to need to go to advertising if it wants to get larger to sustain its finances. It's just going to have to. All these platforms who grow large have to go through advertising, because there's no way the users are going to be paying into it. And so, if you think about revenue model, in order to grow to that kind of size, you're going to need advertisers. And once you bring in the advertisers, all this talk about I want to say what I want to say is out the window. Most of those advertisers are not going to align with those kind of messages. And I also don't think that the world is becoming more conservative to the point where they would like any kind of messaging on these online platforms. I think I recently read something kind of crazy. I think that millennials are becoming more liberal, and so I question the idea that like any of these platforms that are anchored on free speech are ever going to grow big. I just don't think there's ever going to be enough money. I don't care how much advertising they drop in, how much investing they do. Until they get advertising money, none of this is going to matter.
Yeah, like I said, like I mean, I agree with you where we're at now. But like everything you're saying, I would have said with 10 times more conviction that Donald Trump could never be elected president. Like there's just no shot. That's not where we're at. As Dave mentioned, there's no possible way. And even Republicans, there were things he said that crossed the line. But then it was like a fucking landslide. Yeah, I'm just really worried that the tide is going to turn.
I think one individual is completely different than the whole system. And the reason why I say that is he self-financed. He came in with a lot of capital and he run his own campaign. I don't think what Trump did is possible for many other folks. And I think when you're talking about a company as large as like YouTube or Facebook or what Rumble wants to become, you're talking about a huge system having to exist and rely on so many people. I don't think that was Trump's case. I think Trump, if he ever ran into financing issues, could rely on his own bank account to kind of steady him. But even him, I don't think he could run that kind of campaign indefinitely. He would need money from different sources, and he would have to. And actually, I think with Trump, you actually saw this in the latter years. He had to temper his message to some degree in order to be able to continue to coexist. So I agree, it might start off strong, much like Rumble has, but in terms of longevity, even Trump has had to change it. You notice he changed his messaging at all?
Oh.
I don't know.
You don't think he changed his messaging whatsoever? Or he's had to make concessions?
I don't know, because like he still goes on that fucking like election bullshit. Like that's still like a big part of his messaging. Also, your mic the gain is a little bit overblown right now. I don't know if the.
Oh, my bad. Let me. Is this better? No, I put it really low.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
That means it's not better. Here, I'll step away from.
Well, what is your? Hold on, what kind of microphone is this?
I bought the Blue Yeti like you told me.
Oh, do you have Wait, real quick. Do you know where the volume settings are? If you go to sounds on the bottom right, click sounds, click recording, find the microphone, and go to properties. Do you know where that is?
Okay. Yeah. I opened that.
Under levels, do you see line and mic boost? Is there a mic boost option there or no?
Okay, you want me to turn that off?
The mic boost should be at 0.
Okay. All right. I'll manage. All right. Okay. Am I still overblown?
No, not at all now.
Okay.
It was clipping before. That was the problem. Not even the volume.
I think I just had my gain on the mic too low, so hopefully,
okay.
I'll never raise that again in my life.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know if Trump moderated his message too much, but I mean, like, he's paid the consequences for it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see how this Andrew Tate stuff is going to go. You read up on the prosecutor and the one who's running this thing?
Yeah, that he's been involved in like pretty big trafficking cases in the past and everything, and it's kind of like his deal.
That's the one that I think for me pretty much solidified that he's going to go down. And the reason being is I just don't believe as a prosecutor he would want to embarrass himself like this on the international stage. I think if he's doing this, he's got something pretty rock solid. I don't think he's just shooting in the dark. That would be fucking embarrassing. And considering how Andrew Tate's already spoken about the legal system over there, I think for him this is like a personal axe to grind. I also think that if the stories are true about even some of the politicians' daughters being, the one woman in question being involved at all, I think there's probably a lot of political pressure for this to happen as well. I don't think the government in Romania likes Andrew Tate. I don't think they like the kind of heat that he brings to them. And so knowing all of this, I think they only went and did this raid because they had a lot. And considering that they're arresting a bunch of associates around, they're not just doing that aimlessly. I think some people are going to fold. I think they're going to get some good deals for all the women who were involved. Because like once they get one of his associates, like they just need to get one of these girls to flip. And one of the girls to say, I saw him rape, I saw him beat these women. And I think it's over.
Yeah.
And this is not the American justice system. This is Romania. From what I've heard, the ability for the prosecutor to find people guilty is not nearly as difficult as it is over here.
Because I think they don't do. I don't think they do trial by jury in these cases.
No, not all the time. And also, I heard they don't even have the same bail system. Like, if it's a serious crime.
Too. You don't get bail. Yeah.
So all the people that, he's gonna get out. Like, no, not in Romania. He won't. And I think it's so funny that he chose that legal system. He said, "I'm leaving the UK because it's so rotten and corrupt." And he went over there because he felt like he could pay shit off, and now he's finding out that's not the case.
Yeah, this is something. I mentioned this yesterday on Adam's show that like there's probably like some countries are probably more corrupt. Like I bet no shitting on Romania, but I bet like if I'm in Romania and I get pulled over for a speeding ticket, I might be able to pay that cop off, give him 500 USD, and the guy's like looks the other way. And it's like, okay, right. I bet you could do that. But like there's a difference between like that versus like double homicide or like sex trafficking, right? Like there are corrupt systems where you can do some corrupt shit, but that doesn't mean that like everything is on the fucking table, you know? Like
no, that's actually a great point. That's actually a great point. You know what also is funny? In learning about all this stuff, I found out that this guy not only does he still run the webcamming business?
I don't know if he does anymore. I thought that's how he made his initial money.
Okay, but he doesn't do it anymore.
I don't think so. Don't quote me on that.
But he still has his casinos, right?
I think he does, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, he had 15 casinos or whatever. Bro, when I heard he had the casinos, I laughed so hard. Because I just kept thinking of this guy converting to Islam, and I'm like, what a fucking imagine being like, oh, Islam is the truth, and you're running fucking gambling operations, which is one of the most haram things in Islam possible. And not one,
gambling.
But 15 casinos is what you run.
Yeah.
That is the most anti-Muslim thing I could probably think of, aside from owning like a whole ass pig farm.
Sure,
That made me laugh.
Gambling and the fucking gambling and the fucking cam shit too. I mean, like,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. Like
That's why
what? Like
I
you
think
just
it's
now
running.
all you need is like your own custom brand of alcohol or some shit or whatever the fuck would be next, and you're like you've got like the trifecta of like unholy
Bro.
Islamic shit.
If you talk to any Muslim and they ever big up Andrew Tate again, I'm like, do you know this motherfucker runs casinos? And if this man is still like, it's not like I hold some sympathy for people if like they still drink alcohol or if they have premarital sex and they want to like. I understand no one's free of sin, that's fine. But when you run like brothels, okay, or when you run like a whole alcohol distribution system, sorry, okay, you lose my my religious sympathies there for you. There's this dude is running goddamn casinos. Like growing up around Muslims, like that's one thing. Like they talk about interest, they talk about gambling, and how bad it is. And so it was just so funny. Like I would see a bunch of Muslim channels saying like, "It's so awesome that Andrew Tate is converting." I'm like, bro, you don't shut the fuck up with this. What do you think that whole Muslim grift is about? I'm actually curious.
If I had to get, there's like this comical obsession with like traditionalism, and I think at first it came out with like Christianity, like, oh, we're Christians now, we're gonna be Christians, traditional Christians, but now they want to be like even more traditional, so now it's like Islam or something. I don't know, like that's my only guess. I don't see like any deeper. The whole religious grift is cringe as fuck.
I saw with you and Pearly, and I think at one point she said something about like you said something about. I think it's so funny that these guys are doing all this stuff while professing Judeo-Christian values. And then Pearly's like, who's talking about Christian values?
Yeah, they all cuck out and they all like, oh, I don't ever talk about that. Oh, we never talk about traditional blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
That was a weird moment. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, most of the red pill stuff is really based off. They use religion all the time to justify their behavior. What was that podcast like for you?
It was okay. It was frustrating because like we all had a lot to say, and it's very difficult to fight for speaking time on a stage of 4 people, especially when I want to go back and forth with one person and like drill down on something. Because anytime I feel like I kind of had somebody at a point, somebody else would step in and basically like 90-degree offshoot the conversation to another area, and that got like really frustrating. Like yeah, so it was a bit triggering that I couldn't like hold people to the fire on like certain things. I was getting yanked around a lot in the conversations.
Yeah, it did feel like a bit of a 3-1, not entirely, because I think like the guy on the right was reasonable and looks like what he believed in. But what did you think you missed on that you would have liked to gotten out?
I wanted to go the sex trafficking, them walking to the point where like, oh well, yeah, sure, it was sex trafficking, but it wasn't that bad. There were just so many ridiculous parts of that. Like, do you think old people getting scammed like deserve to get scammed because they do dumb things or like?
No way. So somebody said that?
Yes, Just Pearly said that. She was like, oh, these women could leave at any time, right? It's not like they were forced, right? Like they chose to go over. That doesn't make it like a bad thing or whatever. I could be wrong. I don't want to misquote her because I don't want to be character assassination, but I think I want to say at some point, didn't she say that like, well, if that's sex trafficking, it's not bad? Or I think at the very end of the show, at least, she made a joke where she's like, oh, well, if you're a girl and you're trying to like make money, like I guess you can just get sex trafficked and like choose to go somewhere or something. Like she made a joke like basically they were downplaying that like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal, which was a little bit triggering to me, but.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's just. Did you see the whole Vice thing as well?
Yeah, I